All right, we're live. Good morning, friends. Good morning. Okay, so this is a video. This is an interview that you're going to want to take notes for, and you're going to want to get yourself ready to ask some questions. Ask your questions in this session. Okay, we're talking with Halisi, who went from oops. My husband and I forgot to really save for retirement to, oh, we're retired and we live in Portugal and we're residents of Portugal. Okay, we're going to talk about how that happens and how that can happen for you. Hopefully, we'll talk to Halisi about why Portugal and did it meet her expectations, and then just like daily life stuff, and then how. How did you make it happen? How did you go from I don't know. Can we retire or not to? Oh, yeah, we're retired in Portugal. Thank you very much. Welcome, friends. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie Perry. I'm the creator of House Sitter School, co-creator of Exodus Summit. I help Black women take a sabbatical, move abroad, bop around as a digital nomad, house sit, all on a journey of embracing ease. If this sounds good to you, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button, please, and turn on notifications. Ring that notification bell so that you will be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with a special guest. Welcome, friends. Welcome, Halisi.
Hi, hello, hello, hello. I cannot believe I'm here. It was this time last year that I found you.
Oh, it's only been a year. Oh, that's amazing. What progress?
Yes, yes, yes. And I didn't watch the Exodus Summit until after the fact because, politics and stupid elections and all that kind of nonsense. But here I am, 12 months later. Yes.
Out here doing it.
Yep.
Okay, I was thinking in my mind 2 years, right? Halisi's probably done Exodus Summit stuff for 2 years, and that's how she got to Portugal. Okay, a year. Okay, girl.
Yeah.
So, so tell us, update us. Where are you? And yeah, where are you in the world?
Okay, so right now I'm in exotic Lisbon, Portugal, which is so exciting. We've been here since September 23rd, something like that. So about a month and a bit.
Yeah,
And we just got word on Wednesday that our visa was approved.
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations. So
you.
that means you and your
Yay.
husband are residents of Portugal.
Yes, it is official. It is official.
That's
We were bold. We just came because we turned in our stuff. I was paying rent, and we're like, let's go.
yeah. So you went there not 100% certain that your residency was going to be approved, but now it's approved. So residency for you means what? So you're there on the D7?
We're here on the D7 there. We're here on the D7, which means 2 years. And then when we renew it, it'll be 3 years. And then, of course, after 5 years, you can apply for citizenship and get that passport.
Oh,
Yes.
it
Oh,
only takes
yeah.
5 years.
Only 5 years, y'all. 5 years for EU citizenship. Come on now.
Yes. Okay. All right. So congratulations on residency. It's
Thank you.
a step to make sure that you're not setting up your life someplace that's going to make you leave at soon, right? If you're going to go someplace, set up a home, make friends, right? You want to make sure that they're going to let you stay.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because this is more than a notion,
Hmm.
you know. Um, I mean, I got Adelia's, move abroad checklist.
Uh-huh.
That was the first step. But, going through the checklist and coming up with a plan and then actually doing the doggone thing, yeah, those are two different things.
Yeah.
Two different things, especially when you have a whole house and all of that stuff and aging parents. And, Gloria Vincent said last night, so when you coming back to the States, when you coming home?
Uh,
I said, I am home. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's what residency does. I think it just makes you feel like you are that this is a place that has welcomed you. Sandra just got her residency in Mexico, right? So that feeling of like this is a place that has welcomed me in um, is it's a different type of feeling, a feeling that we don't really know yet. I don't know yet, right? A feeling that we in the Black people in the United States don't know yet, but that feeling,
No,
or Black people who were born here, but that feeling of um, this is a country that has welcomed me in, and now I'm going to ingrain myself here, build a home
truly,
life
truly.
here.
Yeah, I have to say, if I think about all of the Western European countries that we've been to, and not that many,
Okay.
um, this is the only place where we blended, where Black folks weren't, first of all, we don't have Africans coming up to us when we're in the very touristy areas saying, oh, my sister from another mother, and then treating me like a walking wallet.
Uh-huh.
But in Spain, that is the case. In France, I mean, customs was like attitude until we had that blue passport.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's right. Right. Black, so when you're in some places, right, when you're a black person in some places, you're not treated well until they find out that you're a black person from the US, Canada, UK, maybe the Caribbean, right? There's a different type of treatment. Not that
It's not
we,
right.
no, right? We're not saying that's how it should be, but that's a real,
No, it's a reality.
yeah.
It's a
So,
reality, and it's a little heartbreaking, but I don't see it here.
yes, yes. So let's talk about it. So tell us what, because you guys were pretty sure that Portugal was going to be it before you started the process of like retiring and moving abroad. Why did you originally think that Portugal was going to be the place for you?
It was Spain first.
Oh,
We yeah, so I'm still taking Spanish lessons. I started Spanish in right when the pandemic started, or right when we shut down everything, I should say,
okay.
right? And so we were gonna move abroad. So I might as well start taking Spanish,
Yeah.
and mostly for my career,
Oh.
because this was gonna happen in 2028, 2027, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, and to be truthful, I'm not sure if I ever really believed we could make it happen.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I really don't, right? But I'm taking Spanish, and so then the pandemic hits, and Rick is in his man cave Googling stuff.
Okay.
And Barcelona was his place. I like Barcelona too.
Okay.
Mm.
And so he's looking. Then he's like, huh, Portugal's right there. They probably have similar weather. And he Googled Black folks in Portugal. And you know who came up? Christina and Amon.
Uh-huh.
And it was all over.
Cinnamon. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, cinnamon didn't come up for him.
Oh.
I found cinnamon.
Tell us her name again, Christina who?
Christina and Amon, Outreach Journey,
Oh, yes, Irish Journey. Yes, yes, right. So we know Irish Journey. Okay, yeah.
of course.
Yeah. Okay. So I think cinnamon was my introduction to Portugal, I think.
Oh,
From
okay.
Driven
I like her.
Driven Spice. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Okay. So you see these people from Our Rich Journey who are a little younger, who retired to Portugal at a younger age than you guys, right?
Right.
Did you think like, so they did it, but they started in their 20s working towards this. We're not in our 20s working towards this. Their message is not for us.
Yes and no. So the fire stuff, financial independence, retire early, girl, I ignored that stuff. I want to see that stuff. I want to talk about my money. I know how bad it
Okay.
is. We were getting rid of debt still at that point.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see the Portugal stuff, and I just binged all of their Portugal stuff. And then I started looking for other folks, and that's when I found Cinnamon.
Okay.
But they had done this video about the neighborhoods and the diversity in Lisbon,
Uh-huh.
and they showed all of these faces. I was like, those are people who look like me.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And so that was the start. And then somehow they tricked me into watching one of their fire videos of YouTube. You
Okay.
know how YouTube works. They snuck that like real life stuff in there. I didn't want to deal with that.
Uh,
And that was my introduction to financial independence. And thank God, because as Rashid always says, they never tell you how much is enough.
yes.
And here is a formula to tell us how much is enough. And so we signed up for their fire masterclass.
Okay.
That was way back in 2020. And they did live Q and A's. And so then we got to talk to them one-on-one. I was like, gosh, they're down to earth. They're cool. My kind of people. So that was the thing that was like, I think it's Portugal.
Okay,
I think it's
okay, good.
Portugal.
So FIRE is financial independence, retire early.
Yes.
FIRE is a movement where my basic understanding of FIRE is you invest until you get to a point where you can live off of the investment income. And then you don't need to work anymore. Now you're retired. Now you're just living off of the investment income. So
Yes.
but you guys were, okay, so I want to transition into the work that you were doing, and were you ready to, so you said that you were thinking about retiring, but not until like 2028, is that real? 2020?
Yes. Well, when you met me, I was crazy. Okay. When I took the 3 clients class, I was just crazy.
No,
So I
just
was really,
doing a
I was,
lot.
no, I was crazy. When I look back on those pictures of myself, I could see the crazy in my eyes.
Oh,
Like, I don't know that I realized how sad I was and how unsustainable that life was,
okay,
right? And so I was recruited on my job by my boss who was training me to take her place.
okay.
And then she decided to do another 2 years. And I was like, oh, because I made her job too easy.
uh, okay.
And I was like, okay, so now it's 2028, because I'm gonna be the HNIC. Yeah, I said
Uh-huh.
it, in charge of Colorado Democrats. And I thought that was, I will have reached the pinnacle, and like the Jeffersons, all this stuff that was my ego was just all wrapped up in, it was, and my mom said, I remember my mom said, by this time I had listened to you guys. So she said, yeah, so a friend of hers, Garen, called and asked how I was doing. And she said, yeah, I told him you was running things in Colorado. You running things.
Uh-huh.
And I said, didn't he ask how I'm doing, not what I'm doing?
Uh-huh. Mm.
Well, it's the same thing. No, it is not the same thing. Yes, I guess some could look at what I've done and say, okay, she's reached, a nadir in her career, but I'm losing weight and I can't help it. My hair is falling out and I cannot sleep and I'm miserable. Trying to take care of dad, working 70 hours a week, no joke, 70 hours, weekends. I was like, and I didn't realize that my dad's condition was going to get to where it went. That was not explained. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, when they explained it to me, they were just sugarcoating it. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell me what I'm in for,
Okay.
And so it got to the point where I was having to help him take a shower
Mm.
and work.
Uh-huh. Hmm. This is in Colorado. Your parents lived very close to you?
No, I moved my dad out there, but I thought and was given the impression that as long as he took his meds, to prevent another stroke and da 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 da, this is it. This is the baseline and he won't get any worse. And at that point, he was still taking himself to the doctor and stuff
Oh,
like that. Sorry.
okay.
And he just could not remember, paying his bills and stuff like that. He would, did I pay it? Did I not? All of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was not that bad when I moved him.
Okay.
And yeah, born and raised in LA, so my mom's in LA.
Okay. Okay. So you talked about the crazy. So this was being a caregiver for an adult parent with a declining situation, right? This is so you worked for the Democratic Committee in Colorado,
Colorado.
and
Yeah.
you were a step away from being the big boss.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
okay. And so all of this did it start to, so did it start to like collapse in on you? Or was it never, were you never holding things up, right? Or were you at one point holding things up and then the weight just got
Yeah.
too heavy?
I think as my father declined, and now I am home 24/7 because COVID, right? But
Hmm.
we're still working. We had to put on the DNC, the national convention, and all of that stuff virtually. So we had to switch everything from paper and pen, and I had to do all of that stuff. Figure out how we were going to vote. It was just this whole big thing. And okay, cool. because in February, I'm changing everything. We're going to get organized. We're not going to try and do 1,000 things in 1,000 days and all of this stuff. She was just a lot.
Yeah.
That my former boss. And
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to pull it back and only do what's important. So, I can last until then. And then she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to run again.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Because
then
it made
January
her look
6th
so
happened.
good.
Yes. Yeah, she never had a real executive director before.
Mhm.
She had people who had worked on campaigns and knew folks and had some skills. But that's one thing. But being an executive director means you have to like know how to do a startup basically, because the party structure is like a startup. They ain't got no money. They
Uh,
ain't got no money.
okay.
The DNC has money, but on a state level, they don't have money. So I'm raising money and hiring and doing all that stuff. And then January 6th happened, these fools. I was actually interviewing somebody and looking at the television at the same time. And I was like, now we know if them were black folks up there, this would not be happening. I just couldn't believe it. And then I saw my friends inside the Capitol and they were showing pictures of my friends.
Yeah.
Then it got real.
Mhm.
Then it got real.
So
And
what are your thoughts? So we didn't come here to talk scare
fact
tactics,
about fact.
right? But
That's okay.
what are your thoughts about like the situation in the U.S.? Is there hope for things to get better?
We'll see after November 6th or whatever.
Okay.
But one of the reasons why we are here now is because Rick was like, I don't want to get stuck here.
Yeah.
I don't want an election to come and the wrong folks to get in, and then they ain't letting folks out. And they especially ain't letting us out because we're the workhorses, right? Other brown people. So that was one of the reasons why we sped it up. And I started looking for ways to speed up that process.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm not concerned with them letting us out as much as other countries letting us in. Should I also be thinking about the letting us out part? When I think about things, I think, well, if America becomes like an enemy of these places, they're just not going to let Americans come in anymore. It's going to be like, I don't know, whoever trying to immigrate to the U.S. We don't,
Right.
you
Some
know,
of those weaker
yeah,
passports.
right. That's my
Yeah.
main concern. But you think is there a concern that they could just
You
stop
know,
from the other
anything
direction?
is anything is possible, right? I mean, they elected 45. Anything is possible. What I'm less concerned about is the whole like the zombie apocalypse. I'm not as concerned
Okay.
about that. We've been here before. We've been in this place of uncertainty, and when privileged people feel financially insecure, this is what they do.
Uh-huh.
This is what they do. They look
Okay.
around for somebody to blame. They did it 100 years ago and they blamed it on Jewish folks. We've been here before.
Yes.
So I,
Okay.
I'm not going to be one of those people. Like I was reading when I was doing some research, I was reading about what Jewish newspapers were saying 100 years ago. And they're
Yeah.
like, look, we've got checks and balances.
Oh,
Don't worry. Yes.
that was the message. Okay. It can't get worse because, right. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Hmm. So I don't believe that.
trying to appeal to people to be good people just doesn't work, especially not bad people. 'Cause there are bad
It
people. There are
doesn't.
bad people.
There are, and there are people who live in so much fear
Yes,
that it manifests itself in crazy,
that's right.
you know?
And they can't
And
help
so,
but
and I'm,
feel
they can't
can
help it.
they can't help but feel fearful because like the whole nation is built on the foundation of theft and murder, massacre, right? And so you cannot feel safe and secure in this environment as a white person, and you
Right?
cannot let black and brown people start to feel safe in this environment.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not concerned about the zombie apocalypse, although I don't know. I think COVID is turning some. COVID is help. I think COVID is a thing that is helping Native Americans get their land back. I think that COVID is working on their side. I think, right, there's been an increase in their land back movement as COVID has
Good.
grown. I think that some of these people are dying with property, right? And people are giving some of this property back to Native Americans. So things, I don't know. You never know from,
That's a good thing. I just don't think from an investing standpoint, these white folks ain't gonna let that stuff burn down,
no, no,
right?
no.
The Warren Buffetts of the world and all of that are not gonna let this stuff burn down.
Hmm.
So from that standpoint, I am not as concerned. Now,
Yeah.
anything else, I don't know.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know.
Okay. So yeah, I think that I just, this is one of the messages that I want to help people understand, that appealing to people to be good people is not going to work, because there are bad people. There are just bad people. All right. So all of these things are happening at one time. Some would say that these are reasons for you to stay, not to
Mhm,
retire.
mhm.
With an ailing parent, with COVID, right? So were you torn between stay and go? Or once you made up your mind, were you like, we're going? And did you both, you and your husband both feel the same way? Or did one have to convince the other?
Rick was ready to go.
Okay.
He was ready to go. I was the one all wrapped up in my ego, all wrapped up in this mess, right? I went back and got my master's and all this. So I got to do X, Y, and Z and blah, da, 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 right? And I went back as an untraditional student at 40 to get
Ah,
my master's. So yeah. I need an ROI on this thing, but it's hard to have an ROI as a Black woman in America.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and I think it was a few things. It was my dad had to go into the hospital 3 times between November election and New Year's.
Okay.
So that was one thing. And so dealing with that, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm at the hospital and I'm binging Stephanie Perry videos and Adelia and Rashida. And you guys did a video, The Great Resignation is Real.
Yeah.
And she just kind of like squatting down with a dress on. I've watched it 3 times. I was so miserable. I watched it and cried 3 times.
Mm,
And when she said, America does not deserve all of your Black brilliance. And I'm like, no, no, they don't. I'm in the hospital with my dad and I'm getting texts from my boss talking about where you at.
mhm. Yes. No concern for
Yeah.
you as a person, only for
Oh, I
you as the worker.
forgot. I forgot blah 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 whoop de whoop. Okay, that's nice, but I can't forget. And I told you I was not going to do another 2 years like I did those last 2 years, but you didn't believe me.
Hmm.
And now I'm starting to develop a plan. We had already, by that point, started saving 60% of our income.
Okay.
So I had a nice FU cushion,
Good.
which was making my attitude even worse or better, depending on how you want to look at it.
That's right. That's those freedom units. Money. There's a YouTuber, I can't remember who it is. He calls money freedom units. And once you have
Yes.
enough nice stack of freedom units, you are not bound to any person or any location or any job or any
No,
relationship. You got freedom units, right?
that's right. That's right. So it was the holiday season between Thanksgiving and New Year's 2021.
Okay.
I'm taking baths every night with smell good stuff. Trying. I had chronic back pain in January when I took your class, and it was stress,
Yeah.
and it did not go away until we got here in June. So
Oh.
for 6 months, I had back pain. Part of it was because I didn't know what I was going to do with my dad, and
Yeah.
then my mom. I had taken over her finances a couple of years ago as well.
Okay.
So she's still taking herself to church and all of that and can remember her address. But financially, she's just giving money away. I said, woman, if you don't tell people my daughter does my finances, call her, I'm going to cut you off of this account.
Okay.
I mean, baby,
Were
it's
people,
real.
she was, so like people were taking advantage of her, or she just didn't have a grasp on how much she was giving away?
Both.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Both.
Okay.
Well, I always have money because I was always giving you money. because I was supplementing your income. And that's another thing. I
Uh-huh.
said, so I'm retiring. So we're going to have to figure something out because this, giving you a couple $100 here, basically every month, adding up to a few, about $5,000 or $6,000 a year,
Uh-huh.
that has to stop.
Uh-huh.
She didn't plan well for her retirement.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's talk about your retirement planning then, because you guys had you not done any retirement planning or just not enough to get to where you wanted to be?
So by the time the pandemic hit, we had paid off our debt.
Okay.
That's where we were at. But I had all of this money just sitting in savings
Okay.
because I didn't know. And I just didn't know. And my stepmother called me and she said, so where are you investing? And I was like, you mean my 401k? Which I rolled over to an IRA. I had enough sense to do that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and she's like, well, yes, that's good. You've got that. But over and above that, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I guess we need to talk. And that was the beginning of her teaching me. So she became my accountability partner, so to speak. And because she said I was the same way at 54. She woke up and was like, oh, shit, I have no money.
Uh-huh.
She found $4,000. And the only brokerage house that would take her back in the 90s, this was the 90s, was Schwab. So
Okay.
she took her $4,000 and bought Apple stock, 100% Apple
Oh,
stock.
look at
That
her.
was,
Okay.
yep. Needless to say, she's a millionaire today.
All right. Come on, stepmom. All right.
Yes. And so she's teaching. I still, every other week we get together and we talk about investing, we talk about these small businesses. And so 90%, y'all, don't ask me these questions because I'm
Okay.
still not that good, but 90% is still in index funds.
Okay.
But I've got 10% that I'm using to try and do what she is teaching me and then what I'm learning on my own.
Good. Okay. How much time do you think you're
Yeah.
committing to this every week or month?
I want to commit more because I do want to talk about it more on our channel.
Hmm.
And so I belong to this organization called Better Investing. And it's a nonprofit in the States that kind of started the club investing movement
Oh,
way back in the 40s and 50s. It's called Better Investing, y'all. And on their website, they have a bunch of videos that teach you how to evaluate companies.
oh, good.
And that's great. But what's better, and I'm no affiliation. We didn't get no money for this. This is just
They've
information.
helped
And
you.
so what
Yes.
is even better is they have a tool. So say you look up Apple and it will show you all of the financial diagrams for Apple, PE ratio, all of that stuff.
Okay.
But it will also tell you on the side how you are supposed to be looking at this data.
Okay.
Okay, so here's this. Here you are, looking at management. And so you should be looking to make sure they have strong this, strong that, da 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 da.
Okay.
And so once you got it, you can turn that off. But otherwise, it's teaching you how to read their financials.
Good.
And yeah,
Okay, so as an investing idiot, which is me, okay, as an investing idiot, I feel like this could be helpful for someone like me who wants to do a little something. I don't want to be involved actively in trading regularly. Hi, Sandra. I
oh,
don't
no,
want to
no,
be
no, 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 no.
right, but I do feel like I should be a more involved investor, and maybe it's time for me to step away from just having the IRA because I'm just an IRA girl, right? I just got. That's
I get
it.
it.
That's all I got.
I get
Okay.
it.
Okay. Okay. We're talking money because we don't want to. We listen. Sometimes we skirt certain conversations because I don't know. We just sometimes skirt certain conversations, but it's important to talk about how you get to the thing. So we're here to talk about how she's
Yes.
living her dream in Portugal, but she didn't just whatever alakazam her way to
So
Portugal.
I'm of a certain age. I remember this.
That's what I was thinking too. Yes, this I Dream of Jeannie did not send Rick and Halisi to Portugal. So we're talking. So
No.
yeah, I see your comments. Let's talk about Portugal. Let's talk about Portugal. But listen, and on this here channel, we live out our dreams. Okay, and we got to talk money if we're going to talk about living out our dreams.
Yeah, because I mean, seriously, there is no way we could have made this happen if I did not understand how money works.
Yeah,
If I just had that little bit of money that I had in our savings account and I didn't invest it,
yeah.
we doubled our money. If I didn't realize that oh yeah, saving 60% of salary is doable.
Mhm.
There's just no way. And the only way to do it fast is to say, okay, no, I don't need to eat out every night. No, I do not need another Coach bag. Lord knows I don't need another Coach bag, right? So instead of that, instead of going to Nordstrom's and just, I'm just looking,
Mhm.
we, cut
Oh,
that stuff
stop
out.
looking. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I can't look. Yeah, I can't look without buying. So it's not, and it's not even tempting anymore. It really isn't. If you tell me if I get those bling bling shoes that I have to work another month,
Mm-hmm.
honey, them shoes are staying on the shelf. So we started saving 60%, and at a time when the market was going up, we were just piling money into the market.
Okay.
The other thing that we did was we put money aside to purchase my mom's condominium.
Ah, all right.
Yes. We were learning a lot, and I did not know that you could buy your parents a home and get an FHA loan.
Ah, even though you'd already owned a home. Okay.
As long as they live in it, you can get an FHA loan. It's a gift.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So
Yes,
you secured her for the future.
exactly. And us, because it's LA and it's a condo in the middle of LA.
Oh, right.
It's worth like $700,000. It's ridiculous. LA is ridiculous. It just is. I was born and raised there. It gave me my grit, and I appreciate that. But they
It's
can have it.
ridiculous. I don't know. There's no better way to explain it. Those prices.
Truly,
Yeah. Okay. So I've
truly.
put the link to Halisi's YouTube channel, Our Black Utopia, on the screen. It's in the description of this video, so it's down in the description as well. So make sure that you take some time, take a second now, click on the button to go ahead and subscribe to Halisi's YouTube channel, because as she says, they talk about their life in Portugal. They interview other nomads, expats, immigrants, and they are moving into talking more and more about the money, more and more about investing in money. Super important.
Yeah,
Super
it
important.
is. It is. I want every single Black person that I ever come in contact with to be financially independent and to no longer have to put up with those microaggressions. I had a boss tell me, slave days aren't over. I want you bald and chained to your desk.
Did you sue him? Halisi, do you ever look back and think that you left a little money on the table with,
Oh, yes.
I,
Yes.
I
The
can't
whole
imagine.
office heard that stuff. I was young.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was young in the entertainment industry, didn't want to get blackballed.
Oh, okay. So you worked in entertainment before you got into politics. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Theater, right?
Oh, yeah, it sure is the same thing. It sure is the same thing. Yeah, I think about that too. So we've been having conversations lately. When Rashida and I were planning Exodus Summit, one of the conversations that we wanted to have was about um, getting your exit money when you leave. But we just didn't have the space, right? We know Emery talks about getting your coins before you leave your job, getting the severance or
Yes.
the whatever you're owed. I feel like I left some money on a table at a job before where I was harassed. I was like, ah, if I knew then.
What I know now.
Yeah,
First of all, I would have saved enough money that I wouldn't have been afraid to be blackballed,
yeah, yeah.
right? I wouldn't have been living paycheck to paycheck.
Them freedom units, I'm telling you, when you start thinking about
Yes.
money as freedom units, and that helps you not be afraid to use the money. Because
Yes.
some of y'all out here, y'all got the money. You just are afraid to use the money for yourselves. So you guys doubled your money through
Yeah.
investing.
Doubled our savings. Yeah, the market, and it's interesting because we've come way down. Everybody knows the market is down, but we had gained so much that we're still good.
Yeah.
And then we saved up another six figures. So And that was from saving 60% of our income. And so when I was all depressed and everything, and Rashida said Black brilliance and all of that, I told Rick, I said, so I can't do this anymore. I can't take care of dad, work 70 hours a week, and this and that. And that Negro said, well, we just got to do what we got to do. I said, no, I don't.
Yes.
Stephanie said, no, I don't. So I
Tell them
don't.
I said.
He was so tired of hearing about, well, Stephanie said, well, Rashida said.
Mhm.
I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And let me tell you, and then I started showing about like house sitting and stuff because he's like, what about all the traveling we want to do? I said, let me show you some stuff. And he looked and he was like, oh. I said, yeah. And then I showed him the numbers and I said, baby, I said, we have easily over 2 years worth of cash saved.
Okay.
We can do it.
Okay.
And then the notion of just living on what's coming in, no matter what it is.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought you were supposed to use your credit cards to. So we just decided, I said, okay, this is how much Social Security you're going to have. Where can we live on that amount? Thankfully, it was Portugal.
Okay. So what was the what was the percentage like base? Okay, so your Colorado life, and now your Lisbon, Portugal life. What percentage are you living on now? Does that make sense? What percentage?
Yeah.
By what percentage did you shrink your cost of living expenses?
Um, you can come here and live off the same amount of money if you don't work at it, okay, folks, because that's no joke. um Heck, we were going through like $80,000 a year easily,
Mhm.
easily. And now we're living on 30,000.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Less than half. I'm
Yes.
not going to do that math, but I know it's less than 50%.
Yes. 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 Because no car, no car insurance, right? We don't have to pay
Yeah.
for gas. The metro is $40 for me, $20 for anybody over 65, and then when he gets his residence card, it'll be free.
What do you mean? Over
Anybody over
65?
65, 23 and under, it's free. It's free.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Y'all hear that?
and 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 it's not just Lisbon, it's for the district of Lisbon plus on the other side of the river where we were staying before. All of that area the metro card covers, so they call it the metro. Otherwise you can pay a little less if you just want Lisbon proper.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. And then your house, so you're living in squalor then in Lisbon on
So so 3 bedrooms, and we actually have like a studio that I'm trying to get together here and get some stuff in here. So this is supposed to be a bedroom, y'all.
you can
I
touch the wall.
can.
This is
So they
a
had a
European
twin
home.
size bed in here. They had a desk, a stool, and a wardrobe. This is as big as a walk-in closet. This is smaller than our walk-in closet in Denver, but
Uh-huh.
it's perfect for an office slash studio, right? And then we have a nice size guest bedroom, extra bedroom, and a master bedroom that fits a king size bed and has easily 6 feet around it,
Okay.
not including the wardrobe, the desk, and all of that. And that might not seem like a lot for Americans, but let me tell you,
In Europe.
in this, we are in historical Centro.
Yes.
So yes, yes,
Okay.
in a totally refurbed building. So we don't smell the smell, we don't have plumbing issues, and we can flush the toilet paper.
Okay. Important questions. Okay, good. Yeah,
Yes.
because in old cities, right, in old buildings in old cities, you have some issues that you have to deal with. And sometimes that means you don't flush your toilet paper down the toilet, you just ball it up, put it in the trash can and take it out. Take it outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. But you're in a refurbished, a building with so old building to me means big windows.
Yes.
Yeah.
So big floor to ceiling windows. And our landlord who lives next door hardwired the whole house. So we have jacks for the internet and even in the kitchen.
Oh, good,
Yeah, and it's fast.
good.
So we got I'm not gonna say lucky, blessed.
Yeah. Yeah, and you looked around, right? You didn't just snatch up the first place you saw, probably. How did the search go? Because I think you guys had this place before you, I know, you guys had this home before you came back to the US and started applying for residency.
No. So we thought we had a home.
Okay.
So we were on the other side of the Teju River, and we were going to rent the Airbnb that we stayed in. So the owner of that, she loved us, and she's like, I want you guys, because we didn't tear up her house, right?
Hmm. Yes.
We know how to treat, we have home training.
Yes. That's
Some
right.
of these folks coming over here. So, so, but she was just a little bit too namaste. So we were working with her, found out that it wasn't registered as a rental unit,
Oh.
number one. So she had to do that. And then I said, look, I said, we need it. She's like, okay, just send the money. I'm like, baby, no, we need a contract that I need to show, the consulate. And you need to, when we pay you, you have to register that with the financial office, which is kind of like the IRS.
Right.
And all of that, use our NEEF numbers and all of that stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. Then she went on vacation. She's like, oh, we'll work it out. I said, look, I need this before August 5th.
Uh-huh. My residency
It
depends
was,
on this.
what part don't you understand? So I kept her stringing along. And so we had made friends when we came here in June because of Black in Portugal.
Yes.
And so that's a Facebook group. If you want to come to Portugal, you got to join Black in Portugal. So we met a friend who he and his fiance have been living here for about 4 or 5 years. He's Brazilian. She's from the UK. And of course, he speaks Portuguese. He's like, Halisi, let me help you. I said, okay, I will pay you. And so this was Wednesday. Our appointment was the following Friday.
Okay.
So Wednesday, he starts looking and showing me all these places. By Thursday, he's out there and he's video walking us through all of these apartments.
Oh.
And yes,
Because
and
you guys were in
he,
Denver. You're in
we,
Colorado.
no, we were in Mexico.
Mexico. You're in
We were
Mexico.
in Puerto Vallarta,
Okay.
getting our residency there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adelia.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I didn't plan this thing out well. We were in Mexico, girl, trying to do our own fingerprints and everything else. It was a mess, but we got it done. So I'm thinking we have an apartment. A week beforehand, it's not happening. I'm starting to panic. So I pay my friend and he starts looking around. Well, he had already looked at a couple apartments for us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me pay you because I need you to do this full time.
Uh-huh.
And so he's out there going to apartment. And he comes upon this apartment. And he calls me. He's walking up. He's like, I think this is the one. He
Oh.
doesn't want the landlord to hear.
Don't let
And
them
I'm
know
like,
how
how
excited you
much?
are.
Right?
Those that
Right. And he's like giving me symbols in the phone. And so then he introduces us to the landlord. I think he saw Rick's gray beard and he was like, yes, I want them.
Okay.
No more
Yeah.
students, no
Yeah.
more young people. Give me some mature people in here.
Uh-huh.
And God's in charge because he still had other folks looking at the apartment after us, but he had already sent to us an agreement. He
Okay.
said, look at it, read it, make any changes you want, and then send it back to me.
Okay. All right. So the gray hair privilege is real.
It is real. So that was Friday. Saturday, we had a Zoom call,
Okay.
and my friend was acting as interpreter along with his daughter.
Hmm.
He speaks some English, but when you feel insecure about it, right?
Kids
And
always
so they always help. And so we're going back and forth, and I'm telling him, what I need to have to feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And I'm sure folks have heard you have to have a guarantor,
Mhm.
just like in Mexico. We did not. And so he was good with just seeing our financials.
Okay.
So we paid 2 months rent in advance
Okay.
plus 2 months rent for the deposit.
Okay.
And I had written in there that deposit's going to be given back once we exit, because that's not a given here
Yeah.
that you're going to get your deposit back. So you really have to be careful. Make sure you have somebody read the Portuguese because that's the only one that
Yeah.
counts. And his little attention to detail wasn't on point. But I'm going to tell you, By Sunday, he was staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, making my changes and sending them back.
Oh,
And by Monday, he had registered it. Well, his apartment was already registered, but registered that we were the tenants, registered the money that we had paid. By Tuesday, we had an email from the IRS of Portugal,
okay.
which we were able to turn in to VFS on that Friday.
Wonderful. So I'm glad that you had someone to help you, but I'm more surprised that the government was that efficient. The Portuguese system was so efficient that he could register you on one day, and the next day you have the official
Yeah,
confirmation so that you can go through with the residency process. Because if
yeah,
we've skipped over this part, in order to in order to for them to apply for residency in Portugal, they had to have an address with
yes.
you had to basically have a lease, what we would call a lease.
Right. And y'all, this is arbitrary, just like Mexico.
Okay.
So if it's DC, they'll my latest word, someone just got approved like a month ago with an Airbnb for 6 months.
Oh, no lease, just an Airbnb list.
But if you have to go to the San Francisco office, they want 1 year lease.
Okay. Okay.
1 year.
Okay. All right. So, and Damaris is asking, what is a guarantor? A guarantor, in some countries, you need a guarantor to rent if if you're not a resident. And the guarantor is just a person who'll say, all right, I co-sign. If things go left, it's on me. It's not
Now,
even. It's
how many immigrants have somebody's going to say that, right? Right. So we used Gail that I got from Exodus Summit last year
good.
to do our visa process, and so she acted as our. It was her folks that read the contract for us,
Good.
and she also acted as our reference for the visa. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that she would do that. That's wonderful. Okay. I didn't know that. Gail, so
yes,
last year, Exodus Summit hosted some workshops on getting residency in various countries. Portugal was one of the countries, and Gail Aguiar is the woman
I
who
think
came in
so.
and taught that workshop for everyone. She gave everyone contact information. Oh, okay. And so you went to the workshop in probably February of 2021, or
Yeah, or January, February, something like that. I tried to get into it in December. I was having login issues. I think Rashida was down in the South Pole or some such
she
nonsense.
was.
Someplace I'd never go to. and, so, and so I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to be able to do anything until until she gets back.
Okay.
So so yeah, it was like January, February, and Gail is busy, so that calendar was closed, and
Because
I was ham-
when she hosted the workshop, she was like, okay, so if you email me, make sure you put this in the subject line so I'll know you're from this workshop, but don't expect to get an appointment anytime soon. Basically, she was like, I'm here to teach you this, but if you need my help, good luck. I'm busy.
truly. I did not get to talk to her until the end of February, and I had to keep trying, just every day to see if her calendar was open. Then it
Oh,
popped open. I was like, yes,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because the other folks we were working with were talking about $6,000 to do it.
Right. Right. I remember her prices being very reasonable for what she was looking.
Yes, yeah, and I was not trying to feel that. So yeah, that was a blessing.
Yes,
That was definitely a
good,
blessing.
good. So Elaine is reminding us, if you have the All Access Pass to Exodus Summit 2022, you get the replay to that session that Gail taught on getting residency in Portugal, which is what we're here to talk to Halisi about today. All right. So the
Yep.
process. And I see another good question about, like, so if you're on Portugal, if you're only getting 90 days on your tourist visa, and you decide that you want, I typed in tourist in the wrong place. I'm supposed to be typing it in the search box. I saw a question. Okay, so Shonda. Hi, Shonda. So how does that work? If you can only stay for 3 months on a tourist visa, how do you do all this so that you can apply for the D7? So when did you guys, I'm confused on the timeline. So when did you guys you went to Portugal in like the
In
summer?
June.
Okay.
Yeah. So we came in June. Mainly, we weren't even going to do a scouting trip.
Yes.
Like, I just want out. This is how crazy I was. Just get me out of here.
Yeah.
And then Our Rich Journey did a program, and they were doing meetups in June. I was like, oh, I guess we're
Oh,
going in June.
okay.
Yeah. And so we planned it around those meetups. And then you guys announced your meetup. So I was like, oh, guess we're going to Mexico in for 4th of July.
Okay.
So June 4th, we landed in Portugal, met all these amazing people, made friends. Y'all, we had a couple who were in the process of buying a house down in the Algarve said, okay, if nothing else works out, you can use our house in the Algarve as your address.
Oh, yeah.
Where were these people when I was in the States? Where were they?
They had all left.
Right? Yes.
There's a vacuum. There's a kindness vacuum in the United States, I think, because the kind
Seriously,
people have left.
they
They're
have
out in the
left.
world.
So we were here in June for almost a month. And then we went to Mexico to switch our visa for our green card. And then I realized, oh, we still have to get our FBI background. No, Rick realized we still have to get our FBI background check. And we're in Mexico until 2 days before our appointment.
Mhm.
Oh, what else do we have to do for Mexico? We had to have notarized things. And in Puerto Vallarta, we could not find an American notary.
Uh-huh.
We could not find anyone to do our fingerprints. So I'm calling the FBI, and he's like, look, it's no problem. You can print out the fingerprint card on regular paper
Uh-huh.
and just get someone to do your fingerprints and mail them in. Do everything else online. And then once we get it, it'll go really fast and we can get you an email result within a week. I was like, okay.
So that's what
So
you
Rick
mean
was like,
when you said you did your
uh-uh.
own fingerprints?
We were looking, you can go to the cops in Denver and they'll do your fingerprints for you.
Right?
If you need, ink fingerprints.
Yeah.
In Mexico, that's the thing. Like, we were in Black PV, but we hadn't gone to any events yet. So we didn't know, and we got to get this stuff done now.
Yeah.
We were calling around. We asked the person, Sonia Diaz's person who helped us with our visa there. She didn't know. And so we started watching YouTube videos on how to do your own fingerprints.
Okay.
I found a papeleria in the hood, in the local neighborhood,
Uh-huh.
and some ink and stuff. And we practiced doing each other's fingerprints.
Oh, okay.
And then we had to find a FedEx to get that stuff sent.
Mhm.
And then where to send it. So we had to send it to our friend in LA. And I was like, okay, are we going to get it in time? So they sent it to our friend in LA and he FedExed it to the hotel in San Francisco. And
Okay.
it all arrived on time
Okay.
because God is in charge.
That's
Because, there were so many ways for this to go so wrong,
right. That's
but
right.
it didn't. We had everything.
So, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments and smiling at the comments. Okay, so normally then, if you're in Portugal, let's stick to one country, Halisi. Okay, if you're in Portugal and you know that you want to apply for residency, while you're there, people get a bank account in Portugal in those 90 days. They get sometimes they sign a lease in those 90 days. Then you leave the country and start the residency process. But a
Yes.
lot of people have to do these things before they leave Portugal, or you can pay someone to do them for you
Yes, there are
without.
companies who will help you open a bank account and get your tax ID number.
Mhm.
So we already had our tax ID number. So when we came, Gail's folks set up an appointment for us
Okay.
at one of the banks. So we did get our bank account here, and we kind of looked for apartments here, but thought we had one. So
Yeah.
so we weren't as thorough as we should have been. Um, so bank account, your tax ID number, your FBI background check, your lease. New York is now requiring a lease. Um, Boston, it's in between. So a friend of ours came in June and she actually just stayed all 3 months. She rented an apartment, stayed 3 months in her apartment, and then went back and applied.
Okay.
So now her apartment is sitting empty. um, and which is kind of a pain. Yeah, that's
If
the
he
pain
needs a
part.
house sitter,
There
tell
you
him to
go.
call me.
There you go. So yeah, because she's still there waiting for her answer.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to wait.
Right. So how did you enter the
Man,
country? So you re-entered back on a tourist visa,
exactly,
and then they said
exactly.
yes.
And then they said yes last week.
Oh,
So we FedExed our passports to the United States yesterday.
how scary is that? I don't want to talk about the what
Right.
could go
Well,
wrong.
we would if we were in Denver still, we would have had to FedEx them from Denver.
Right. But yes, but you're in a different country now, Halisi, without your passports. Okay. Yeah. So you entered on the tourist visa, you FedEx your passports back to the consulate so that they can give you the visa. Now you're going to have to, they're going to, someone's going to send that back to you in Portugal. And now you're going to have to
Exactly.
leave Portugal on the tourist visa and re-enter Portugal on the D7 visa?
No,
No?
we don't have to do that. No, we
Oh,
don't have
okay.
to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
I
wouldn't be a
thought we
pain
were
if
going to
you
have to do
did,
that,
right? It wouldn't be a big
but
deal.
it no, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. We could have gone to the UK, done a house sit and come back, right?
Yeah.
But Gail said, "No, you don't have to do that. Just stay put.
Oh,
You don't
wonderful.
have to do all
Okay.
that." Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to have a Gail.
That's why you pay. I was going to
She's
say.
she saves you money, right? Because
That,
I was like, "Do we have to wait?" She's like, "No, come on back." I have plenty of clients that do that. I was like, "Oh, okay. We coming back then."
mhm.
I want to be back before Rick's birthday. I don't want my apartment sitting there empty. I don't like paying rent for a place I'm not staying in,
That's right. That's right.
you know?
Okay.
So,
Good news. That's good news. Okay. Yeah, this is why you pay
yes.
someone to help you with these things, someone with experience to help you with these things. Because listen, I would have been like, okay, now I'll get on a plane and leave and come back in, and, right? Wasting time and money and gas,
Wasting
wasting
time
airplane
and money.
gas.
Exactly.
All right, so
Exactly.
you went from chronic back pain to no back pain. Well, how did Portugal do that for you? What's the difference?
I think it wasn't necessarily Portugal. I think had we made Mexico first and then Portugal
Yeah,
next, it still would have happened, right?
yeah.
Like I think it just trying to do too much. It was the black woman hero thing.
Mhm.
I took my cape off
Yes.
and my dad told me he never wanted to be a burden.
Oh,
I listened to him
okay.
and I found a place that will take care of him. And I do video calls with him, and that's my way of telling him and letting him know I love you and make sure that your person is paid. He gets so many visitors because Papa was a Rolling Stone. He got he got three women visiting him on a regular. It's ridiculous. So yeah, so that it was okay, this is the manifestation part because I booked our flight to Portugal when we were still in Denver, and I did not know where my dad was going to stay.
Okay.
My aunt thought I was crazy. She's like, "Well, what if you don't find a place?" I said, "That is not an option
Okay.
because on June 3rd, we're going to be on a plane to Portugal. That's all I know."
Mhm.
And so we're going to be on a plane, and so yeah, I did a lot of visualization, and it worked out. Found the place, we were on the plane.
Uh-huh.
um it started to ebb once I got that call, and she said, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we have room." She said, I don't do any advertising. God brings me my person. Someone just passed away 3 weeks ago, and I've just been sitting here waiting for you to call.
Oh, mhm.
And so it started to ebb. But Gloria Vincent was still in my pocket.
What did you see? What did you when so let's talk about the visualization process. So were you actually visualizing a place for him?
No,
Okay.
I was visualizing getting the call
Okay.
that that there was a place that we could afford because you could not apply for extra help. USA wants you to die in poverty, folks. If you
Yeah.
get dementia or something and you need that long-term care,
You
you've got
gotta
to be in
stand up.
poverty, right?
Mhm.
All your money, right? And so, um, so that we could only afford so much, and I could not apply for him to get Medicaid until we got into the state, back to California. So applied when we first got there, still have back pain because what we doing? I don't know how it works here, you know.
Wow.
And so a little bit of ebbing, but I was visualizing. I was sitting in the bathtub in Denver, visualizing getting that call,
Okay.
and then being in Portugal, like
Yeah.
everybody's taken care of.
Yes.
I'm free. I'm free. All I got to do is call in and be the good daughter and make sure the stuff is paid for.
Yes. That part.
That part, but not with my money. We spending
Okay.
his money. Thank God he's got a pension and Social Security.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he's fine.
So you have your mom, your dad, your stepmom, all of these people who, no, I don't want to assume. Was there anyone who was like, this is a big mistake? You guys going to Portugal is a big mistake. They
Oh,
see
my
you
stepmom was the only one who was like, yeah, because she divorced my dad and they moved to South Africa. So that's when I say I have family in South Africa. You know, so my sister grew up in South Africa
okay.
from like elementary school through college and stuff. And so
Oh.
she was like, yes, I have a place to visit in Portugal now. But Gloria Vincent's like, so you just gonna abandon us, huh?
Oh.
And, and I was like, look, I am just tired of the lethal racism and the passive aggressive BS. And she's like, well, then you shouldn't leave. You need to. I said, didn't I just give how much time to the Colorado Democratic Party, to volunteering for all of this stuff, and Colorado Black Women for Political Action, and all this? Now, I have paid my dues. I am passing the baton. Time to pass the baton.
Pass it. Yeah.
So, you know, but I loved that job for you, she said.
Oh.
We, will you go do it?
So,
Because Stephanie said no.
all right. So, where is she now in terms of that? Has she made peace with you being retired and in Portugal now, or is she
The
still?
retirement part, yes, because I don't yell and scream at her anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
She didn't realize
right?
that, right? She would like you better retired. She likes retired Halisi better. Okay.
Right? I can't be my best person for you if I am not whole, if I am miserable. So she gets that part. But no, she's still into, you know, when you coming back. And part of it I think is her memory. I don't think she realizes what we're doing.
Okay.
Um, and so I said, yeah, we have residency here. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And we have a cousin who's lived in Mexico forever. So
Oh.
it's like, you know, so I say, like Fran lives in Mexico. Oh, so you're not coming back, huh? I said, we'll be back in July for some birthdays and stuff, but
Do you think she'll come
no,
and visit you guys? No. Okay.
she will not make that flight, even if I paid. We were in Denver for since 1998 to right. She
Yeah.
visited twice,
Oh,
twice.
geez. Just from California to Denver. Okay. Yeah, she's not flying to Portugal. Okay. Okay. So
No, that's what.
did she make you write out a calendar for when you'll be back to visit her?
No,
Oh, okay. My
no,
mom did.
no.
At first, my mom.
No, and you know, and I think if I lived in LA, it would have been a lot tougher. But I moved from California in the 90s,
Okay.
so she was already used to not seeing me. And but I did leave her my old iPad, and I set it up so that we could do video calls because she still has a flip phone.
Yeah. Oh, does she?
Flip phone.
Okay.
So y'all, she's like, y'all getting took paying all that money for them phones. I'm like, you are costing me money with your flip phone, right? I can't WhatsApp call you, you know. So now I've got the thing set up. I have to pay for her internet
Uh-huh.
so that she can video talk to me and all of this. So I think that's helped. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So, but
And then you guys have
hard headed.
You guys, we're going to talk about decluttering, but I want to circle back to the residency process. So I think we lost some people. When you're applying for residency in Portugal, you have to already have a tax ID number, which I think is what they call the NIF. You have to,
Yes.
in Portugal, You have to already have the tax ID number in Portugal. You have to already have a bank account in Portugal and
With money in it.
with money in it. And you may or may not have to have a lease, right? Depends on which consulate you
Yes.
go to in the US.
You have to have living arrangements, at least 6 months living arrangements for back east. And yeah, but it depends on what consulate. So if you go to the embassy in DC, it's butter. It's
Oh,
butter. In any of the other ones, it's hit and miss.
okay.
And the other thing that we've heard is they've cracked down on the D7 now.
Yeah.
Passive income only.
Yes, right. This is a retirement visa. So for a good amount of time, people who were making money regularly working, but just not working in Portugal could get the D7 visa. But they seem to want to split off the retirement visa and the like freelancer or
Remote worker.
remote worker visa. These are going to be two different things. Right now, people who are applying for the D7 visa but make money from a job, not from
Yeah.
like investments, are getting declined and sent home or sent away. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
Yeah. And so the tax implications of that are really real. So so you might want to think about that. And that's why I tell people, "Oh, I'm thinking 2025 baby. It might not be around in 2025." And that was another thing. I started to see first for passive income, the tax burden for 10 years was that went
What?
away. It was zero.
Ah,
That went away. And so just in the time from researching to by the time we could move, it's now 10%.
okay,
So yeah, that's real. So before you even go apply, you have to have a NIF. You have to have the FBI background check. You have to have a bank account with about 3 months or so of living expenses in it.
okay.
So thousands and thousands of dollars.
Mhm.
Look to see. Don't just transfer money willy nilly. Don't use TransferWise to transfer, $5,000 and $6,000. It's going to cost you a lot.
Oh,
Look to see when the conversion rate is in our favor. That's when I transfer money.
okay.
Right? So we get a little bit bigger bang for the buck, and we're not losing value. Um, you have to be bringing in at least the equivalent of their minimum wage, which is very low,
Hmm.
um, like $800, I would just say, per month. And if it's two people, then it's 800 plus 50% of that.
Okay.
So 8 and 4, 12, 1,200.
Yes, and so
That's not that hard.
these are the things that they had to prepare in order to just apply, right? You have to have these things prepared to apply. So because they left in the middle of the application process and went back to Portugal, they had to ship their passports back to the consul. Either way, right? Once you do your application.
Yeah, unless we lived in San Francisco, we still were going to have to ship them. Well, we could have left them with them, but that means we would have been stuck in the United States.
That's what I thought happened. That's what I thought, right? That you had to, that you, there was no choice
Like,
but to give them your passports when you first
right?
applied and just wait. This is why a lot of people with weaker passports, right, with passports without power, are just stuck when it comes to traveling. You have a Nigerian passport, you got to mail your passport out to someone, wait for them to say yes or no, and you're not going anywhere until you get it.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I thought we were going to get the Airbnb apartment, she was going to start that in November.
Okay.
So the plan was after we did the rehab on our house, the plan was to go to Mexico and spend, like Day of the Dead there and everything like that with our passport.
Yeah.
So we were going to have to mail it.
Okay.
But then when we had to go ahead and start paying rent, I'm like, okay, well, Mexico will have to wait. We're going back
Wait.
to Portugal.
Okay. I do want to address this comment. So we see the comment, Black women always want to travel to every place but Africa, loyalty to the oppressor. We go where we want. You don't come on our YouTube channel and try to oppress us by telling us where we go or don't go.
So I've been to the continent.
We've been to Africa, if that makes you feel
We've been
better.
to, I have family who lives right now today
But that
in
don't
South
matter. It's
Africa.
just, that's not the point, Halisi. The
Right.
point is you don't tell us what to do or not do.
Where to, well, definitely. But let
Tell
me tell you. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. She is well off. She lives in a 5,000 square foot house and she has rolling blackouts. I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
The water goes off from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Hmm.
The water is
Is
off.
she in Johannesburg or in near?
I think she's in Durban now.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not about that life.
Yeah. We want some ease. It's okay to say,
Please.
I want things to be easy for me in my life. You can
I'm
have
a
a good life
spoiled
in.
American.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled. We took the internet down when we were in South Africa. Okay, we were staying at a bed and breakfast. We ate up there all their internet.
Yeah. It was, well, how long ago were you? When was the last time you were in?
This was 2009. It
Okay.
was a while ago.
And
They have better
it's
plans
better
now,
now. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they still have rolling blackouts today.
Yeah.
Today.
I never believe the argument that we can't. I don't. It's disingenuous for people to say you can't go to Portugal because they're rolling the slave trade when you live in Georgia.
This is my this is right.
you
This is my reparations. This is reparations, baby. I can. That's how I look at it.
you live in
Look,
Georgia and you work for the prison system. Don't talk to me about people's role in the slave trade. Get out.
or Coca Cola, or Coca Cola, because Coca Cola owns South Africa. Okay, Nestle's owns Africa. Please.
Coca-Cola and Nestle are ruining the world. Like you can go to the most remote. I have been to some remote places in the Philippines, and you know what them kids are walking down the street with for breakfast? Coca-Cola. It's ruining the
It's
world.
ruining. It is. It is. So I want to hear it.
I've been on a tiny island in the Philippines where I had to take two ferries to get there, and stayed in a place where the house was on stilts, right? And it's just a what, right? It's just a shanty on stilts, basically, with no running water. And them kids are drinking Coca-Cola for breakfast, walking down the street, stop by the little lady's stand, buy their Coke, and then walk to school, and that's their breakfast: Coca-Cola and candy bars, right?
Those poor teeth,
Don't tell.
right?
Yes, right. Ruining the world, just out here damaging people all over the world. Don't talk to me about
Seriously.
where we should and shouldn't go, what we should and shouldn't do. That's just that you
No.
don't mean it. You don't mean it. You don't mean it when you say.
And then the other thing, the thing that is interesting about Portugal is, there are so many Black folks here. First of all, the food.
Yeah.
The influence of Cape Verde, Angola, and Mozambique on the
Hmm.
food here
Hmm.
is on another level.
Yeah.
It's like my New Orleans, my Creole grandma
Hmm.
went to Jamaica for a few years and then came back and made this dishes that
Oh,
are just like, it's comfort food. It is so good. Oh my gosh. I found a black barber, no problem.
I saw you went to the barber
Black
the other day.
hairdressers,
Yeah.
yes. Black hairdressers, no problem. Black hair care products, no problem.
Did
I'm
you?
home.
Are there? So here's what I didn't find in Lisbon. I didn't find black neighborhoods. Maybe I didn't get out of the city enough.
You
But I
didn't get
didn't.
out of the city enough.
Okay, okay. Are you okay? Because
Yeah.
that's where I thought. I'm like, where's the black neighborhood so I can eat, right? Because Lisbon. So I'm gonna eat the fish, that bacalhau, the fish and
Yes.
potatoes. I mean, I'll eat that every day. I will eat it every day. You're not gonna upset me by offering me bacalhau every day and the pastéis de nata, right? I'm gonna eat that. I don't care.
Yes.
But I did think, let me get something a little bit
So,
different.
yes, there are African restaurants in the city center where the tourist areas are.
Hmm.
So they are here. But a big population is off of the Blue Line, which is kind of west
Northwest.
of
Okay.
the city,
Okay.
but just off the Blue Line. Or on the other side of the river in Almada, there's a huge Black population there as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
And probably other places that I haven't found yet.
Okay.
But,
Good.
yeah,
That's
it's
good.
less expensive out there.
Yeah.
But no, but my neighborhood is one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the Lisbon city center. And we were just walking. We thought we were so far away. We had gotten off the metro on Almeda. And I'm like, oh my God, we're so far away. No, we're going to get back on the metro. We'll walk around here. Girl, that was just right down the street. So the other day we said, let's have an adventure. Let's try to get lost. And we walked and we're like, oh my God, the park is right here. All of this stuff is right here. On our way back was a beauty shop with all Black beauticians in it.
Oh,
On the way back, I know I counted at least one Caribbean and two African restaurants.
okay.
In the Colombo Mall, there's an African restaurant in the food court.
Yes. Okay.
So, I mean, it's everywhere. It really is. But yeah, I'm walking distance from Black hair folks.
So, because there are Black Portuguese people, this is the only
Yes.
place where people expected me to speak Portuguese. How is this going? How is the language?
Right?
How is the talking?
I we I just learned how to say I'm fine, okay? Because it does not make sense. the so I can read it because of my 2.5 years, almost 3 years of Spanish. I can read it, so that has helped tremendously.
Okay.
A lot of the verbs are the same. Then I took 7 years of French too back in high school and college. So between French and Spanish, I can read it in context.
Yes.
In context. If it's the news and I don't know what they're talking about, then no.
Who knows?
But we had our first language lesson
Oh, good.
on Thursday or Monday. I don't know, not last week, sometime. And I picked a Black woman. I always pick Black women.
Uh-huh.
And she's Angolan, which is good because they're easier to understand.
Oh, okay.
And yes, so it went okay. It went okay. Once I saw it written, what they were saying, I'm like, that's what they were saying.
Right.
That's how you spell that. Once I saw it written, and between my Spanish and her, my Spanish teacher, they're so great. Black women are so brilliant, just so brilliant.
Always.
And she's like, okay, so it's je suis in French, it's yo soy in Spanish, right? And it's eu sou in Portuguese.
Mhm.
I was like, oh yeah, it does kind of all sound the same,
Mhm.
especially if you're Argentinian and you say je soy, that weird accent they have, right?
Brazilians have a
And so
Brazilian
they
Portuguese
do, they
is
do a j,
very sing-songy and very strange. So
they
when
they
you
do a
said
j.
Angolan, I'm like, oh, it makes sense to get a teacher who's going to have the accent that is going to help you the most. Because like a Brazilian Portuguese person, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
And they have different words, different verbs that they use as well in Brazil, so that could be problematic.
Yeah.
Now, according to my Brazilian friend, y'all don't get in the chat, these Portuguese folks, but this is what he says. He says they talk like they're still riding a horse. So I think to him it sounds like Shakespearean English sounds to
Oh,
us,
okay. Old fashioned. Okay. I'm like, I don't know. What does that mean?
right?
Like this? That
That's what
makes
I
no sense.
so right,
Okay.
because I'm like, do we have an English equivalent? And that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah.
And
Like
when
the
I said
British,
like
right? So
Shakespeare,
the British say whilst in everyday conversation.
they
Why?
do say
Get
whilst,
rid of it.
right?
You don't need that word anymore. We've moved on past whilst.
Exactly. Yes, South Africans say it as well.
Do that. Yeah, like
They do.
we're past whilst. You can just say while. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, it's things like that that just and our landlord and everything, they, a lot of people speak enough English to do transactions.
Okay.
And when you just try,
Yeah.
I have not gotten attitude from any normal person.
Yeah.
Now I say that to say there's some old people here. And they're and walking up that hill, I'd be miserable too. Stop smoking. And I think they remember when Portugal was not a democracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still relatively new, 1975, right? And so they're looking at all of this stuff, and I don't think they're feeling it.
Okay.
They have not been able to take advantage of the new Portugal, is what I'm thinking. I don't speak
Yeah.
to them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I had one man yelling and screaming at me. I'm sorry, something keeps itching me right there. Yelling and screaming at me in the grocery store. And I just did the American thing. I turned around and I said, look, back off. I don't understand what you're saying. And I said, and I know how to say I don't understand in
Yeah.
Portuguese, but I didn't because you don't deserve it. I don't know. And he just looked at me and I'm like, now my husband's right there. You don't want to catch a case. So
I found that when you say to people, I don't speak Portuguese, in Portuguese, they don't believe you, right? You can't say it in Portuguese. You não
right,
falo Portuguese. I know how to say it. But when you say
right.
it, then they assume you're lying and they keep speaking to you in
Exactly.
Portuguese. So it doesn't matter. Just say it in
Exactly.
English. They know, they at least recognize it's English and, oh,
Yep.
on about her
Yep.
business.
Yep. And I'm not going to hurry because I'm in Portugal now. I don't have to hurry. And whatever your problem is, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. And
Sharon
I'm
says,
not going to follow you down that rabbit hole
Sharon says she thinks that Brazilian to Portuguese is like American to English,
to British.
British English. Yeah, yeah. It's funny hearing the differences. Even here, so I'm in
Yeah.
Costa Rica now. I can understand Costa Rican Spanish. Like there's something
Oh,
magical happening.
interesting.
I understand what they're saying. Whereas in Mexico, it's hit or miss. Let me be in a small town in Mexico. I don't know. I don't know, sir. I don't know. You can be saying regular words to me. I understand the word for dinner, cena. I had an older man ask me out to dinner, but it took me forever to figure out what he was saying. He has
Yeah.
accent, the something. Might be because
Look,
Costa Ricans are less indigenous. You know what I mean? Like there's more European mix in here.
I
So,
think so, but even my tutor says when you leave the city, she does not understand some Mexicans. She does not understand some Peruvians. She's like, I don't know what they're saying, blah, 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 blah. And then they say, "You got me? Blah, 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 you got me?" She's like, I don't know what they're saying.
mhm. Yes, so it may
So
be
if
a
she doesn't,
thing.
we sure ain't gonna understand.
No. I don't stand a chance. I don't stand a chance. Thankfully, I have an expression that helps people understand that I don't know what you're saying, right? And they'll just be like, forget it. I
Yeah.
give up.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
give
Yes.
up.
But
Okay.
Spanish is, I don't care what anybody says, Spanish has helped. And there are enough words that are the same that once I see it and try to pronounce it in the Portuguese way, the European Portuguese way, two or three words has helped me
Yes.
buy envelopes, find the post office, and all of this other stuff. So, Kat was on last week talking about, no, it didn't help me. I'm like, baby, it helps me.
Yeah. I think you're right in that it helps the most in reading the stuff, right?
Yes, yes.
So even in the Netherlands, I don't speak Dutch. I don't understand Dutch. But if you say the word, I'm not going to understand it. But if I see it written out, there's a chance, a very small chance that I may be able to figure out what it is. Right? There's
Yeah,
some
it's close enough. Yeah, some of the
understanding
words.
through reading is different from hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Germanic language, Dutch.
Yes, like
Okay,
English. And so there's
right.
some things that make sense, even though you wouldn't pick it up when you heard it, but when you see it.
Yeah,
So
yep.
not knowing the language is not a reason to not go someplace.
No, it definitely isn't. And stick to the city for now,
Yeah.
as far as living goes. But I was listening to, I don't know, one of our crew was interviewing Black in Portugal young ladies, and I was surprised that two of them have not taken lessons yet. But
Uh,
here's the deal. So the government offers an intensive language course for free. So as soon as we get our residence card, we're going to get on the waiting list to
okay.
take it. And it's a 3-month course. It's an intensive. But once you pass it, you don't have to take the language test to
Oh,
get your citizenship.
nice. Wow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's 3 months of like hours a day, or do you know
Yes.
the schedule?
It's 5 days a week, like 2 or 3 hours a day.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So you kind of need to be retired or have a job where you have flexibility. But if you tell me I don't have to take a test,
Done.
I don't want to take a
Done.
test.
Right. I
I'm
wouldn't want to roll
right.
the dice with that either.
No, and all I have to have is my little certificate, and I get my Portuguese passport, and now I'm an EU citizen as well as an American citizen. Please,
Yeah.
yeah, sign me up.
Yes.
Plus,
Yes.
I'll meet people.
Yes. You sure will. Yes. All right, that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's good to know. So Portugal, for all of the reputation or all of the communication out there right now that Portugal is not necessarily a welcoming place, they have things in place for immigrants. Because you're using the word immigrant in your life. You're not using the word expat, or are you mixing them? But I've seen you
I
say in particular, I am an immigrant.
Yes, in Portugal I am an immigrant. In America I'm an expat.
Ah, okay.
That's kind of how I look at it. We're going to be doing a discussion with Angela and the AG3 family about expat versus immigrant
Yeah.
because we all get it in our chat. You ain't an expat. And what I say is no one is searching Google for Black immigrant.
No.
They're searching Black expat. So I'm going to use Black expat.
Yeah.
And plus, haven't other folks been telling us what we get to call ourselves for like 400 years?
Mm-hmm.
If I say I'm a Black expat, I'm a Black expat,
That's
or
right.
I'm a Black immigrant, or I'm a Black cow. I get to define myself today because I was talking to this white boy here. Hi, Joe, if you're watching. And he's like, I've never had this conversation with any of my other Black friends. He does business in Africa as well.
Okay.
And he says, I'm surprised how open you are. And I was like, that's because I don't need you.
Right.
The moment I had to stop asking people for a paycheck,
Yeah.
that was freedom. So I'll tell you,
Yes. Yeah.
and if you get your feelings hurt, that's a you problem.
Traditionally, so travel with Stacy is asking what is the difference between an expat and an immigrant. An expat is short for expatriate, right? And it's a person who was it's just a person who has left their country for another country.
Your home country.
Yeah, left their home country. It's typically applied to white countries, right? So if in out in the world, if you live in a what they call a white country, the U.S., the U.K., Canada, Europe, all of Europe, Australia, right? If you leave one of those countries and move somewhere, typically people will give you the label expat. If you leave a black, brown, or whatever country, not white country, they'll typically give you the label immigrant. You move from
Immigrant.
India, you're called an immigrant. You move
Right.
from, or if you look Indian, even if you move from the UK and look Indian, they'll call you an immigrant, where they'll call the
Right.
white people the expat.
Yeah.
They're the same,
Yep.
right? An immigrant is a person who has moved into a new country, an expat. So according to Halisi, an expat is a person who has left. I haven't Googled the definition of expatriate, but it's the person who has left. So you're both,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Both.
Yes. And now, my British friend who is of African descent,
Mhm.
she does not call herself an expat. She says, because I never felt patriotic in the
Right.
UK
We were never, that's right. We were never patriated. We were never patriated in our
in
country
the first
to begin
place.
with.
Right.
Yes. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. Right. So that makes sense. That's a good way for her to explain the distinction. And it's not because of me or anything I did, it's because of y'all. Right. This is how y'all did things.
Exactly.
We're-
Exactly.
yeah. Um, so we kind of brushed over when in talking about all of it. So first, let me drop a couple of links here because thank you guys for being very patient with us today. So again, subscribe to Halisi's YouTube channel at Our Black Utopia. But I forgot to tell you that she has a ready to retire toolkit when we were talking about her retirement process and
Yes.
the money stuff. I forgot to tell you about
Yes,
Halisi's ready to.
because this thing is not cheap, y'all. You heard me. 3 months in the bank, 3 months worth of living expenses in the bank.
Mhm.
On average, here in Portugal, and I'm sure it's the case in other places as well, not Mexico, because you don't need to do that for Mexico, but without a guarantor, a lot of people are paying 6 months worth of rent.
Yeah. Yep.
So you do the math. We're talking about $20,000 to do this thing. Now, it's not $20,000 that's taken away from you. It's $20,000 that you get to use, but still, that's not a small chunk of change. Cash.
Mhm.
That's not a small chunk of change.
Yeah.
So the money is important, and you don't want to move someplace and get caught out there.
No, you
What
don't.
if we didn't like it, right? Like if we didn't like it, I want the flexibility to just buy a plane ticket
Mhm. So
and say
Halisi,
this ain't working.
Halisi's Ready to Retire Toolkit, the link is in the description and it's here in the chat. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/ready to retire toolkit, all lowercase, okay? Um, And then also we've already talked about Halisi and her husband's YouTube channel, which is Our Black Utopia.
Yeah.
You've,
Yes.
let me get that link in here.
And we started a Facebook group too, Fire Over 50.
Yes, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yes, if you'll
Yeah.
give me, if you don't mind, if you want to give me that link when we're done, I'll put that in. So,
I will do that.
talk to us about the Facebook community.
So when did it start? So we were talking about um, if you're afraid of your money.
Yeah.
And we were having a discussion about, because our family, bless their hearts, we started having financial talks with the younger generation. And when I say younger, that means your age, baby. because because
My youngster.
Rick's oldest daughter is about your age.
Okay.
So I'm the trophy wife. But yeah, so they're not young. They,
Right.
my sister
They're
was like,
adults.
"Oh, it's not time for." She's 41, baby. It's time to get it together. We've been having family finance calls for a year now.
Oh,
A year. And what we've noticed is that they're afraid to look. It's like,
yes.
just look, because you will I know it's not going to be pretty, but ignorance is not bliss, not in this case. Not in this case. It's not bliss. And so, in talking to our kids, and then we had one granddaughter call and ask to borrow some money, and she ain't been on the calls.
She would
I'm
need to
watching
borrow
you.
money if she came to the family finance calls.
I'm just saying, right? So we did one of our shows about that, and actually our subscribers said, we need our own Facebook group, because it looks different if you start at 20 or 30 than
Yeah,
it does at 50.
that's right.
And so I'm like, yeah, so if you guys want it, we will do it. And so I said, I think we were still in Denver's, putting down tile and sanding floors and all this stuff. I said, but give me a couple weeks.
Okay.
So we started it. And then 3 days later, we had Adelia on talking about the confidence to invest, because she was about to launch her challenge.
Uh-huh.
And we jacked up her first interview with the sound. So I said, I have to have you back as a makeup. And she was so sweet to do it. We only had 400 followers, right? And so now that we're in the thousands, it's like, okay, come back and you can promote your challenge.
Mhm.
And so between those two shows, they were like, yes, 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 we need a Facebook group.
Okay.
And so we started it, I took my lessons from Exodus Summit,
Okay.
safe space for folks from the African diaspora.
Yes.
If you don't know what that means, then you're probably not from it. Although a very, very, very brown face with very tight, coily hair answered no, he was not from the diaspora,
Yeah.
because he's from Puerto Rico and maybe he just doesn't
Doesn't.
consider himself.
Mhm.
And that's
Black
fine.
Puerto
So
Rican.
he got declined.
Yes.
Right. But then we're also doing some stuff in there. So healthcare is a big deal. Healthcare is one of the main reasons we wanted to leave the United States. When I was dealing with all of that stuff with my dad, and actually trying to find help for him in Colorado, and they said, oh yeah, and if we do give you help, if the spouse is in the house, we'll let her keep it until she dies. Then we take the house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's
Say
right.
what?
That's right.
Then I was like, okay, we've got to come up with another plan. I'm not working and saving 60% and doing all this stuff for the government to get it. If I happen to get into an accident or something, give me a break.
Give me a break.
So, right. So the healthcare system here is definitely on point. And as soon as you get residency, you get on the public healthcare system
All right. So have you done research
straight
into
away.
hospitals, and do you think you'll still need private insurance for your health care?
We are going to get private insurance as well. And so I say that to say we're having this company called Serenity Portugal, started by a doctor who speaks English. And so it's a nominal fee, but they kind of act like a concierge.
Okay.
And they have two Black employees. I hope they're not watching. They have two Black employees, but they just moved here. So I'm interviewing one of them in a few weeks, but the founder is not Black. So he can't be on our channel. But I'm
I've said,
having
yeah, we do the
it.
same thing with Exodus Summit when sponsors are like, "Oh, we have someone who can come." Like, not if you don't have a black woman, she can't come. They can't. You can't be on the channel. Yeah, I understand.
But we're going to have him in the private Facebook group.
Okay,
So to answer questions about the healthcare system here.
wonderful.
So tomorrow we're talking to some folks about their experience with the healthcare system.
Yes, I saw that.
But their experience is not the experience.
That's
It's their experience. But this is going to be very helpful. So 3 Black women, and then the following Saturday after the Stephanie Perry show. Come on over. Yeah, honey, I scheduled around you.
Did you? Thank you.
Yes, I did.
That
Because
means
I don't want to miss you either.
that means I can't cancel next week's show since you've already booked the schedule. I have to be here. Okay. Okay.
And he's going to come into our private Facebook group and answer questions about the system, about private healthcare, the public healthcare system, and everything.
Wonderful.
So yeah, and by that time, we will have reached out to the private healthcare, private insurance companies that we're looking at, and we'll be able to give folks some information about that as well.
Good. Okay. So the
Yeah.
steps, if you are into Portugal and healthcare is your concern, you need to, one, subscribe right now to our Black Utopia. Two, you need to head over to their Facebook community, which is called,
Fire over 50.
I'm going to put the name here. Rick's here. Your husband is here. I saw
Is
it.
he
Put
is
the-
he in the chat?
when you when you said you're the when you said you're the trophy wife. I don't have nothing to do with this conversation. I'm out of this conversation. Right. So if you guys will drop or give us the link to the Fire Over 50 community, we will.
I just saw a Danielle Brooks.
Yeah.
I knew a Danielle Brooks. I wonder if it's the same person.
Hi, Danielle.
Anyway, yes, Our Black Utopia, Fire Over 50, and you'll find it, very easily. But I'll send the link as well. And you don't have to be over 50 to join. Adelia's in there.
I
She's
wasn't
not over
worried
50.
about that. I wasn't
Um,
worried about that. I was getting
and
in.
so yes. But you do have to be from the diaspora.
I was getting myself in there. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, so this is the place we're going to talk money. We'll talk some Portugal stuff in there, but really it's about getting that money together, getting your finances together, and supporting each other and being each other's accountability. Greta is in there, and she's always dropping good articles and stuff. And yeah, it's a great place. So I went out and found her grape jelly for her.
She was looking for grape jelly in Portugal. Was it hard to find?
It
Oh,
is hard to
grape
find.
jelly. Yeah, grape jelly is an American thing. Everybody else does strawberry, raspberry. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, those other berries. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we found Welch's grape jelly for her.
Oh, did it cost $1 million because it was in Portugal?
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was overpriced, but it was about 380 or something. Not bad.
Okay, not bad at all. Okay.
If you have to have you some grape jelly, Now the maple syrup, that was hard to find, and the store, we're in walking distance of 3 chain grocery stores, as well as, of course, the mini mercados,
Mhm.
and they had a little thing of maple syrup for $8.
Yeah.
Miss me with that. I'm not paying $8 for maple syrup.
I mean, Halisi,
No.
that's what it costs, though. I don't care where you are in the world. Maple syrup is not regular syrup. It's not cane syrup. You're gonna pay for
Yeah,
it.
it wasn't pure.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'll pay for pure because, yes, it's expensive.
It's expensive.
But you gonna give me some maple flavor?
Yes. Okay. Okay. I get it.
Ain't that your mama on the pancake mix?
And your mom is not maple
No.
syrup. Okay. Okay.
Right? So, I did find some at that store for less expensive.
Okay.
And then I found a place where I can order the pure stuff for not about the same that I would pay in the States
Okay.
for a big jug. Yeah.
Yeah, that jug of maple syrup is gonna cost you. It's
But grits, y'all, I'm still looking for the grits.
that's the thing. So, Jamie, who lives in Jay Freedom, who lives in Mexico, they fly back into Louisiana, and one thing that they make sure they have in their suitcase when they come back is grits. Grits that you're not gonna find them. I'm sorry to tell you, you're not gonna find them. Somebody's gonna have to bring them to you.
You can order them.
You think so?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
order them. So there's My American Market online will ship them. And
Oh,
then the Liberty store actually has them online as well. So my American Market and the Liberty Store both carry grits. Quaker grits, though, but still grits. I don't care what brand at this point.
Yes, you'll take
I,
them.
I, I need my hominy.
That's right. You'll take them. You'll take them. Okay, so yeah, okay. We talked about you going through all of these things in Denver and still moving, but we just brushed past the fact that you had to sell everything, empty out your house, sell your house. That's not easy.
Yeah, so we didn't do any of that.
Okay.
And so when we're talking about fire, that's the other thing. It does not have to be passive income from stock because, as you know, it takes a while to have enough in a stock portfolio to generate $2,000 to $3,000 worth of dividends.
That's right.
So we took the shortcut, which is rental income. So we have our house in Denver, and we let family move in, so we didn't have to move all that stuff out.
Oh, okay. I knew.
Yeah, so our daughter and our son and another person is there, and so we left the furniture, and then all of the raggedy stuff we got rid of, and all of the projects we had been working on for the past 10 years with tile halfway done and all that stuff that you just put up with and don't even notice anymore. Got new vanities and tile and just made it pretty so that if they act up, I can get somebody in there to take away the furniture and get renters in there.
Okay. I did know, I think I do remember that family was moving in, but I thought you had to get rid of everything. Okay. That's so, but
No,
you did some. You had there, you didn't just leave everything.
we did a no, like all of our stuff, right? So we left the furniture. We got rid of, I had like 10 sets of dishes and all of these dinner parties I was supposed to have. But how are you gonna have them when you're working 70 hours a week?
You're not.
So I just had too much stuff. And by the time, because I was crazy, I told you that, by the time I got around, I didn't even feel like selling it. So I started looking for, okay, who are my little mentees who are setting up homes now, who will take this nice china and some crystal and this and that. So I gave them to my babies. I
Okay.
just gave it away.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Did and this was a process that did you start this process before? Because I know so you guys were back in Denver not long ago. Was this something that you had
Yeah.
started doing before, or did you do all of this in that mad rush
Yeah.
3 months ago?
No, that would have been crazy. Once I was trying to find peace. And like you said, there are not enough manicures or anything. So I got onto the tidying up thing. So
Okay.
I started, what brings me joy? So I was like, maybe if I redo the decorations and get all the clutter out, it'll make me feel better. So that's how I started decluttering.
Okay.
And I had stuff from high school, y'all. I still have my prom dress.
Oh.
I still have my prom dress. But I had all this, I had junk from high school too, right? So I just started getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Okay.
The guest bedroom, all my stuff. Down in the basement, all my stuff.
Mhm.
And then all of the gowns from all of the galas, because, they can't see you in the same thing twice, too many times in the same year, because, girl, I started getting rid of all of that stuff. So by the time we made the decision in December 2021,
Mhm.
I had gotten rid of probably about 20 large trash bags
Okay.
full of crap,
Okay.
full of crap. Yeah.
Okay. But
So, yeah.
you made an interesting point that the downsizing can become a way. So I'm seeing a lot of like decluttering conversations that are talk about that being a path to something, but I'm not sure it is. Is it, right? Is the decluttering a path to something, or is it just a means to an end? I've assumed that it was a means to an end, but there are people who have thrown themselves into this new thing, like competitive minimalism is what I call it, right? Who've thrown themselves into that, thinking that that's going to be satisfactory. I
Yeah.
view it as just a means to an end. If you want to move someplace, you can make it.
Yeah, exactly. At first I thought if I could just change the decor, if I could just but in the end, that wasn't going to be enough. Like if you're happy in America,
Yeah.
but just not happy in your space, then yeah, perhaps that's all you need, right? And minimalism, I'm not into minimalism as one fork person, right? Like
Uh-huh.
no. because I want my friends over and I want stuff on the wall and I want it to feel like home, not like I'm living in a hotel.
Uh-huh.
But I am into minimalism in that I do not need 35 pairs of pants to the point where I still had dresses with the tags on them,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
Stuff like that.
Hmm.
I am not into that anymore. So I think it's somewhere in the middle,
Yes. Good. A comfortable.
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Everyone wants you to know that you can substitute polenta for grits and you should be able to find polenta.
I have been looking for polenta. Yes, I know. Yep. I have been looking
Even,
for polenta nut. Now that I know that I can't go to the American store and just get the grits, I have to order them online and wait for this. I have to praise the USA's postal system. I
yeah,
have not
because
found in any other
there's no
country.
place like it. There's nothing like it in the rest of the
There's
world.
nothing like it.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I miss from the USA besides family, it is definitely the postal system.
Yes.
It is privately owned here. Y'all fight for that postal system. Whoever's staying, fight for that postal system. I'm telling you. It's a stamp here is like $1.50 or a €1 50, where
Uh,
it's like 58 cents in America, right?
uh-huh.
Something like that.
Uh-huh.
So yes. So now that I know I can't just go to the store and I have to wait for them to be shipped, yes, I'm looking for hominy.
Okay.
And in this neighborhood, I will probably find it because,
Okay.
again, one of the most diverse. And then Greta said for the chili powder, because I'm from California, I have my Mexican food.
Oh, yes. Chili powder.
Um, Asian stores.
Yeah.
It's like, of
Good.
course, duh.
Good thinking, Greta.
Yeah, that's why I love this community. I love y'all. Y'all so cool. I just love you.
Problem solved.
Seriously.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So we talked. You mentioned we talked about your channel, and we talked about you going from 400 to thousands of subscribers. How is your YouTube channel going? So that I can
It's
subscribe.
because
Tell me how
okay,
great it's
because
going.
I
So I can.
took the Stephanie Perry YouTube challenge.
Yes.
We have about 2,800 subscribers in 6 months.
Yes. Wonderful.
So steady, steady. We put out a video, and I guaranteed to get at least 1,000 views, if usually about 2,000 to 3,000, and then of course there's the breakout ones that have 14,000 views and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I'm not trying to go viral or any of that stuff. And I knew, and see, this is the thing, Angela, my new accountability partner, when you said, go live, you don't have to edit. And we're trying to move and do all of this stuff. And I wanted people to follow our journey, but I didn't want to have to edit everything. So
Tell me.
that's been the key. Every week we put out at least once a week, we're going to have some content out.
Yeah.
And I've met so many amazing people because I've just reached out
Yes.
and said, "Hey, do you want to be on my channel?" And and they've said
They
yes.
say yes. Isn't that surprising?
Even even when we only had 400 or 500 subscribers, they said yes.
Yeah.
And so we met. Now I feel like I've got friends all around the planet, and we've learned from them, and hopefully created some value, and people have learned stuff. So
Definitely.
we're
Definitely.
having a ball. We're having a ball.
There's nothing like YouTube, okay? So I know I'm biased, but there's nothing like YouTube. There's no platform out here that's going to bring you in people who you actually like and want to spend time with and want to do things out in the real world with. There's nothing.
Yeah,
There's no alternative to YouTube.
it's truly, truly.
I'm,
I have to co-sign you on that. And if you're taking her challenge, which is coming up because I saw your email,
yes.
do what she says do.
Yeah. Thanks.
Period. Do it.
Thank you.
Because it works. So our original dream, Rick and I, was to buy a motor home and travel around the United States and make documentaries.
Yeah. Yes.
That's as big as I could dream. That was it.
That's a great dream.
And it was a good dream. And we had a vision board, like not a digital one, but like this on
Yeah.
this,
A real
those
in
big
person.
folding out boards,
Uh-huh.
and with magazine cutouts glued to it and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I was telling Kat last week, interestingly enough, um, I found it in the decluttering and I pulled it out and I'm like, I'll be damned. Wow, this stuff is happening now. But the pictures that I had chosen, were not pictures of America.
Uh-huh.
They were pictures of like Europe, maybe Chile or someplace like that. They were not America.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, here we are.
Here you are.
Here we are. We're
See?
not making documentaries from a Winnebago, but we're doing YouTube in our walk up.
And making money from YouTube. Um, your channel is already monetized, right? So you're already making that ad revenue on your channel. You did it in like record time. This was
Yes.
that was your
Because we did what Stephanie said to do.
you did what I said, but you did it. That was your doing. I take credit. You don't have to give me extra credit because I've already taken the credit for all of your successes, everything.
I see some people coming saying who were in the class with me
Yeah,
saying, well, what should I do? I said, pull back out that stuff that Stephanie gave you and do it. What are you doing? That's
people are
why I
stubborn.
keep repeating myself.
People are stubborn, right? They're just stubborn. I'm like, this is what you do. This is how. This is. We're
I
not.
like shortcuts.
We didn't do alakazam. Okay, we just did these things. The YouTube Success Challenge is happening again November 7th, which, believe it or not, is a week from Monday. I don't know. Time is
Wow.
not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Time is
it's
meaningless.
flying. It's flying. But yeah, so we got monetized um, during 4th of July weekend
Huh?
when we were
While
out
while
there
in Cancun, yes, you
in
told me that, and I was
Cancun.
like, no way. You just started this channel.
Yes, yes. And so we had 4,000 watch hours before we had 1,000 subscribers,
Yeah, I've never seen.
right? Because so we having these conversations, and so it took another day or two to get the 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, and then we got our first check in August,
Yes,
and it's been consistent since then.
good. Yeah, and
So, I mean, it's not big money, y'all.
no.
You don't think that you're going to, because I know another couple who thought that they were going to like replace their income with YouTube within 9 months.
Oh,
No,
probably not.
no.
Mm-mm.
But,
Yeah,
and, so like we're using the super chat money and all of that as a scholarship fund for the folks who want to take our challenges.
wonderful. Oh, that's very.
Yeah. And then the ad revenue is we're saving because you put every dollar to work. Every dollar that you bring in has a job.
Okay.
So the ad revenue we are saving to purchase property here, cash.
Oh,
We
good.
actually, yeah, we want to buy a building
Oh, yeah.
with some other people. We got this idea from some other YouTubers, but yeah, we want to buy a building. We've got somebody else who was looking and now she's off the market. I said, just wait. Because the fit's gonna hit the sham with this recession, and it will touch here.
And you want to buy a building
And
that is commercial or residential or?
residential with some friends,
Mhm.
and we just take each apartment,
Oh, awesome. Okay,
right?
right.
Yeah,
YouTube ad
you
money
can
grows.
buy a building costs less per square footage than buying a flat.
Okay. Yeah, like a discount. The bulk discount.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The same is true in the States, y'all. Multifamily homes are less per square footage typically than a single family home.
Yes.
So that's the dream.
Good.
And then Rick wants a villa out like in on the, Silver Coast or something and wants to do a bed and breakfast, but that sounds like a lot of work.
No, you don't have to. I mean, yes, it's a lot of work, but you don't have to do it.
I'm not doing it.
That's that
I
on
will
that.
greet people. I will greet people and maybe do some tours here and there when I'm not in the city because I'm a city girl. But yeah, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, somebody else could do it. Just
No,
because you own it doesn't mean you work in the business. You don't have to own. You don't
exactly.
have to work in the business just because you own it. I know that. That's what.
Truly.
That's
Right?
on my
We
mind.
have to find some way where we can, farm out the responsibilities and we just check in
Yes.
and make sure everybody's happy and the money's flowing and up to snuff.
What a
Other
dream.
than
What
that,
a, right, what not a dream, but what a dream to move towards. Not a dream to have
yes,
to just dream about, but what a dream to
which
plan for,
is my
move to.
old life. Old life was just dreaming. New life, I did Exodus Summit this year as well. I haven't got my pedicure yet,
Okay.
but if you were there, you know the joke. But yeah, I'm not gonna uh, work hard anymore. Those days are over.
Yes.
Those days are over.
Yes.
But doing fun stuff, and if some of that fun stuff brings in money,
Yeah.
then we set it aside and it'll come. It'll
Wonderful.
come. Like we were so over budget. We were so over budget. And I'm like, God will replace this.
Okay.
And he already has.
Okay.
He
Yes.
already has.
Cher has a question for you. Do you have a planned tour to Portugal in 2023? Do you think that your business is moving towards meetups or tours for your Facebook community? Just a question. All right, that's just a question.
Yeah, tours, no, meetups, yes.
Okay.
And whether they're free or like just okay, I'm gonna be at this restaurant,
Uh
y'all come join me type of meetup,
huh.
or if it's like a planned, catered, I don't know. But we love meeting people. We've already been meeting subscribers,
Yeah.
and we've only been here a month and a week, so
Yes. Yeah,
it's
that's the thing. It's a cheat code. Having a YouTube channel is really a cheat code for you to get to the things you want because you can interview experts on your channel who help you do the things you want, and it's a cheat code for a growing community, right? If you feel like I don't have any people who are into what I'm into, talk about it on YouTube. You will, okay? You will.
yes. And I like old friends from high school that I lost touch with. I saw an Exodus Summit. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, oh,
Yes. So now it's like, okay, people that I used to love and fell out of touch with and, blah, blah, blah. It's like, see, I knew you were my type of person. And
yeah,
here we are circling right back.
that's right. Your path.
One just got back from her sabbatical.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, right? Community. We think about the internet as a thing that is not like community, right? We separate online life and real life, but you can create a real community through an online platform like a YouTube channel. I've done it.
You really
Doing
can.
it. We know. Trust us.
You really can. And here's the thing, when you are really just surrounding yourself with folks who are seeking joy,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I'm happy. I'm good. You good? We good.
Yeah,
We
sometimes
good.
sometimes you forget about the old stuff, like the old way of doing things, and you hear those old conversations. You're like, "Oh, girl, I'm not. I don't do that anymore."
Oh, it happened. It happened. And Liz, who was in your class, she happened to be here when we were here. So we interviewed her. So we're at a Black in Portugal meetup. And we're talking to this other lady, and she was talking about, yeah, these people come here, and first thing they want to do is, do this and that and this and that. And we looked at each other and we're like, we're from the Stephanie Perry Life of Ease. So yes, we ain't doing that stuff either.
We're not doing it.
If we can find someone to clean our house for a rate that is in our budget,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna do that. If we're gonna, I mean,
Yeah,
but we do still find people here, immigrants, expats, whatever you want to call them, Black too, who are still trying to hustle and grind.
yeah, yes, yes. You have to heal from that. You no matter where you go, there you are, right? So you got to fix that in you. You can no place is going to change that for you if you still have it in you. That's right. That you got to
Indeed,
change your mind,
indeed.
renew your mind.
Yes. And I probably would have been that person had I not found y'all, seriously, and stopped, because you're in competition with everybody.
Mm,
There's one door, there's one executive director,
uh,
and it's going to be me, right? There's one person who's going to get this, and it's going to be me.
okay,
So, except for my friends, you're competition. And now, no one's competition.
that's right.
Everyone's a collaborator, no one's competition. And I don't want to hear all that stuff anymore. Because I'm good. You
I'm
good? I'm
good.
good.
That's right.
Right? All these beautiful Black ladies, none of them are in competition. Nobody's trying to steal your husband, all this nonsense. No,
That's
leave that in the
leave
States.
it. Leave it.
Leave it. Because every brown face that I see is a potential friend as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. So we joked about earlier about all the kind people have left the United States, but there is a certain type of person for even not only right. There is a certain type of person who you will meet when you leave the country and go abroad and meet other people who have left their country and moved abroad. And there, it's it's if you are struggling in your life to make connection, right, to have friends, um, try a different country, even if it's just for a short period of time. Try to meet up with some
Truly.
people who have moved to another country, particularly Black women. We are wonderful.
Yes.
Black women who have moved to other countries, we're wonderful people. We're the kind of people who you want to know and
Who
befriend.
you were looking for at home.
That's right.
You were looking for those folks.
That's right.
You were looking for those folks.
That's right. So
Yes.
thank you for these super chats, Duchess of Success. I recommend this channel to every Black woman I know. Thank you. I'll be spending half of 2023 in Lisbon. Wonderful. Planning an Exodus.
Oh, yay.
Wonderful. Lisbon.
Send us an email. Send us an email.
So we've covered what you like. I think have we covered what you like about Lisbon? We've talked a little bit about food. We talked about your barber. Briefly. What do
Oh,
you,
yes. Oh,
so
yes.
now
He's
that you're
good.
there, after you've gone through the process of dreaming about Lisbon, right? What do you like about
Yeah.
it in real life?
Is it everything that I hoped for? So far, I'm still in the honeymoon period, I have to say. And I'm still saying, we live here. So yeah, the, okay, it's not all peaches and cream.
Mhm.
It's not. Let's just be honest. Um, there is a problem with the mail system and just that whole thing. I mean, just that whole thing and trying to get stuff to our house from our bank and trying to get stuff out is a pain in the butt.
Mhm.
And I guess it's a pain in the butt in everywhere except for America. Although my friend from Brazil said they have a pretty good postal service in
Okay.
Brazil and they mimic the United States.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we do, I guess, export some good things. But and the hills are the hills.
Yes.
But to me, they are the hills, right? And so, but it does not bother me. I love getting that kind of exercise.
Uh-huh.
So I'm still in seventh heaven. I'm still exploring and just finding out how walkable and just beautiful the city is. So beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Um, the graffiti, the tagging still bothers me.
Does it?
Our neighborhood, and so here's what I've learned in the series that we're about to do. The way Lisbon is split up, it's split up in freguesias, and you can look at it like a parish. So similar to what they have in New Orleans. Um, there's a city council,
Yes.
but the freguesias or the parishes are government bodies as well. And so before you decide which apartment you want, you need to go on the Freguesia website and see how they're running things
Oh.
or not. They're in charge of the trash pickup. Are they doing it well or not? As they call it, urban hygiene. That's what we mean by horse days. Urban hygiene? Okay.
Okay.
So it looks like they're in charge of the schools. They're definitely in charge of all of the public spaces, any kind of extra services, whether they're going to have, festivals here and all of that kind of stuff. The park that's across the street from our house, every blade of grass is nurtured, and I mean they take care of these parks. The leaves are off of the cobblestone so that you don't slip on them, like 3 times a week, 4 times a week.
Mhm.
The park that we had in Denver, maybe once a month,
Yeah.
maybe, right?
Right.
So you definitely need to get on their website, and every Freguesia has a website.
Okay.
Whether it's Avenida Novash. So the names of the neighborhoods as we know them, like Graça, that's not a Freguesia. Saldana, that's not a Freguesia. Those are neighborhoods within the Freguesia.
Oh,
So I
okay.
hope I'm pronouncing that right.
We won't know.
Y'all know.
We won't know if you do or don't. We'll take your word for it.
How I'm saying it is how it's spelled.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But and I'm like, you know what? Because people want us to show the neighborhoods, But more important than the neighborhood is what governmental body is over it,
Okay.
especially if you're going to buy too, right? And in the States or here, you want to go onto that website, see how they're running things.
Okay.
And so our Freguesia is really big on wiping out the tagging, not the pretty graffiti,
Yes.
but the tagging.
Okay.
And when we first moved here, it was like, I don't see anything. Those motherfuckers, they got 2 walls, and
They're just
I'm pissed. I'm pissed about it.
messing up the
But
pretty.
I know it will be gone. It will be gone because they every month in their little newsletter that comes to our house, they show before and after pictures of all the stuff that they're doing. So they're serious about it, giving meals to the elderly and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay.
So you really do want to do your homework before. Now, 1 year lease, don't worry about it. By law, you can get out of it after a third. So by law, you only have to do a third of the contract.
Oh,
So yeah, so
oh,
4 months you can get out of it. Um, so don't worry about that.
okay.
But if you're signing a lease and finding a place that you want to stay, you definitely want to get on that website and seeing what they're doing,
Okay. Because that
and
can
just
really
turn,
impact your
yeah,
experience of the city.
you can translate it into English. And yeah, you don't want trash out there, so that's another thing that's different. When you live in a place that is old and has the majority are apartment buildings,
Hmm.
the trash, you have to take the trash outside, and there are neighborhood trash cans.
Yeah.
Is it just a trash can or what? What are we looking at? Or is it one of those big, huge rubber things? I don't like those.
Okay.
In our neighborhood, it's underground. So you have these nice, pretty, like silver that they keep clean, and then all of it drops down the
Mhm.
chute,
Mhm.
right? And so the trash, is taken care of because, I don't want rodents and stuff like that. And so all of that stuff is important.
Yes.
How are they handling it?
That's right. And Lisbon, it is such a pretty place. The tile on the outside of the buildings, I don't know that there's any other place where you're going to find that, right? It's just beautiful. And then
It
there are
is.
parts of town that are just color coded. They're just white with the terracotta, I think, roofs. It's just such a
Yes,
the Portugal in general, it's just such a pretty country. And then
it
you guys,
really is.
you're never too far from a beach because because Portugal is shaped like that. You're never far from a nice beach, right? A
A
pretty,
nice beach.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we can get on the train and be in Cascais 25 minutes,
Uh-huh.
which is like a Beverly Hills beach.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills meets the beach. La
Yes.
Jolla. If you know San Diego, La Jolla, it's La Jolla.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Is that the beach where they have? I don't know if this is gonna make sense to you, but when you get off the train, there are houses and they're like little striped houses, a row of stripe. I don't know if you remember. I don't.
No, that's not in Cascais. That's up the Silver Coast.
Okay. Okay. I still look at that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to get back here. So these little striped.
I've got to get there. But yeah, Cascais it is La Jolla.
Okay.
Like you've got the old area, but then you've got these big mansions. There's tons of mansions.
Ah.
Rick was like, I'm not feeling this. And then when we walked back down the hill and he saw more black faces and more graffiti, he's like, now I said, what about this area? Yeah, I feel comfortable here. Like, okay,
People
you
actually,
need the graffiti and the brown faces.
real people live here. So how's the weather been to you guys? You're wearing a jacket.
Yeah, this is my YouTube jacket because
Oh,
I'm collecting my patches from around the world.
uh-huh.
So this instead of collecting little,
Individual.
stuff that you
Yeah,
put around your house,
like
I
magnets.
just figure I'll fill up my jacket with patches.
Oh, that's such a good
So I've
idea.
got one in here that I've got one in my pocket that I've got to sew on. But the weather, it's been raining, but it's warm rain.
Okay.
So I've got the window open right now,
Okay.
and I have not gone out. I have a rain jacket, the thin kind of rain jacket,
Mhm.
and then a long sleeve T-shirt, and I'm good.
Good to go.
Especially walking, and then having hot flashes.
You have to be
Whew,
prepared for everything.
truly, truly, truly.
Yes.
So yeah, the weather is great, and I'm from Denver,
Hmm.
so
Where,
snow.
yes, but where you get nice summers, you get good, you get a variety of seasons.
You
In
you do get a
Portugal, you're going
variety.
to get a little less variety, right? Because you're going to have a winter, but it's not going to be
It's
as.
like I grew up in Southern California. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. All right, the Clubhouse for Women. This sounds beautiful. We may have to visit. I mean, there, it's not a surprise. It's no secret why people go to Portugal and then move, now they live in Portugal, right? They go there and then they move there. It's a wonderful
Yes.
place. No place is perfect, but it's a wonderful place.
No,
It's probably
it really is.
I spent the least amount of time there based on the places that I love. Of all the places that I love the most, it's the place I spent the least amount of time, but the place I'm like, yeah, I'll go back over and over and over again. And I
Yeah.
love it. I would live there.
I think one of my favorite things is the cafe culture.
Hmm. Hmm.
And not every single, but just about every single green space has a kiosk. So you have your playground right here. Then mom or dad, they, whomever, can sit right here, have beer and wine
Yes.
and food, and you just happen upon them and they're everywhere.
Yes.
And the beer and the wine, what, €1.50
Right.
for a glass of wine,
Right.
for a glass of beer, and not a little bitty. I mean, a healthy glass of wine, a mug of beer,
Uh-huh.
€1.50
I
all day long.
I remember getting a coffee, which was probably espresso. It's not my thing, but probably a coffee and a pastéis de nata, the little pastry, for I think €1.50, right? Because it's just like, yeah, you just do
Yeah.
that. Sit here, you eat it, you drink it, you watch things, right? This is not. It's not. The economy is not like based on getting you on the move. They have to. It's
No.
based on you sitting and enjoying some things for some time.
We have a cafe across the street that we go to, and we got two lattes, two pastries, and it was less than €5.
Yes.
And big pastries like this. I only ate half and brought
Oh.
half home.
Oh.
Not a little bitty. Well, the pastel de nata, they are purposely small because
Yes.
they are so rich. I'm
Rich.
talking about the flaky pastries with like, toasted almonds or
Filled.
something like
Hmm.
that. This big.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I'm still just amazed. Like, why are we paying all this money for
Yeah.
some dough and some sugar? Why?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because labor costs more. That's one reason.
Right, that's true. That's true. So Auntie Trey says she loves hearing children play. They don't do that here in Atlanta. Sometimes when people ask me, I want to go to such and such a place, is it family friendly? I'm like, every place is family friendly. They have kids there, but we're right. There are places where, and especially in places in the US, where you don't see kids out enjoying themselves, you don't hear kids playing, and you don't see mixed spaces for adults and kids. But in a place like Portugal, I'd probably throughout Europe, but in a place like Portugal, it's not
Yes,
designed for the kids to be in one place doing one thing and the grown-ups to be doing another thing. This is for the whole family, from kids to great
yes,
grandparents. This
yes,
is a
yes.
that is the way the society is built.
And we hear kids playing all day long. And when I say all day long, I mean last night it was dark. It was like 9 o'clock, and mom and two kids were out. We live on a plaza,
Okay.
which is like a plaza, right? And so the buildings go like a U, and in the middle is a park.
Uh,
So you can just look down and keep an eye on your kids if it's that deep. But we have a high school down the street. So between the high school kids at lunch and then the babies in the morning and the evenings, everybody in the evening. This, what I did not realize about America is we have public spaces, but we're not meant to use them. Because what are you doing? Are you loitering? There's at least three women that I see every single morning. They go to the park, they sit on their bench, play on their phone, whatever they're doing, and just chill.
mhm.
Talk,
Yes,
oh, hi, so and so, pet the dogs. They're just chilling.
it's chill.
Nobody called the cops on them.
Mhm.
They weren't sitting while black or anything else. The public spaces here are used. The other thing that I love, and I saw this in the train station as well, is the accommodations for moms and the accommodations for the elderly.
Yeah.
And in all of the train stations, you usually have food. So they have little kiosks and things set up where you can get hot food and drinks and all of that stuff. I passed by and they had a nursing room
Mm. Uh-huh.
that had a beautiful mural. It was sparkling clean. This is in a public train station.
Yeah.
They had soft music going.
Hmm. Yeah, we can't imagine that. That's why I owe everyone an apology who's ever asked me, is a place family friendly? And I snapped at you because we don't have family friendly spaces. We don't have child friendly spaces. We don't have elderly friendly spaces. We do. The U.S. does have the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, which does do a better job than other countries of making places, public places, accessible. We
Yes,
do have
yes.
that going for us, but what we don't
But
have is places that are really welcoming to people, to people.
yeah, so the system has something that's accommodating, but the people aren't accommodating.
Yes.
You will right? So, it is I will if an elderly person comes on a crowded public transportation, I know, besides me, that 10 other people will get up,
Yeah,
and no matter the color of the skin.
that's right.
And that's the thing that also brings me joy,
Yes. Yeah, you see that in
you know?
Mexico too, right? Uh, they'll even have
Yes.
it sectioned off. Sometimes you'll see it's for the elderly and nuns, right? It'll have a little sign,
Oh, I haven't
person with
noticed the
and a
nuns.
picture of a nun, right? Elderly and nuns
Yes.
get first priority here, right? Yeah,
And pregnant women.
and pregnant women.
They have special lines for pregnant women and the elderly, and or holding infants and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I loved seeing, the 3 generations at the beach in Mexico and stuff like that, and I see the same thing here.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm glad that you guys. So listen, it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. It feels like 90
Oh
minutes
my
or
gosh.
less. I'm sorry. I
Yes.
apologize. Okay. So we've talked through probably your dinner. Your husband's probably had dinner without you.
So that's another thing. They don't eat the dinner restaurants don't open until 7.
True.
So they have dinner at 7:30 here. That's why kids are playing in the park in the dark.
And for Exodus Summit, Thea was on one of the panels, and she lives in Italy with her son and her husband. And I said something about putting your son to bed. She said, "Oh, I have an Italian baby, right? He's not. He goes to bed at not 10, 11 o'clock at night. He's not going to
Right.
bed at no
Yep.
7:30."
Yeah, 7:30 was the bedtime in the States, right? But here, oh no, these babies are out
Outliving,
playing.
outliving their lives.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that you are enjoying what you worked to get to, right?
Yes.
And not there hustling and grinding still, right? I'm glad that you've taken some time to enjoy things and meet people. Keep on
Yes.
going. I'm excited to see what's happening with your YouTube channel, with your Facebook community. Friends, don't forget to go
Yes.
ahead and not join, subscribe to Halisi's
Yes.
channel, Halisi and Rick's channel, Our Black Utopia.
Only if you're interested.
If you're interested, if you're going to watch, Halisi said, don't subscribe to her YouTube channel if you're not going to watch her videos. Okay, that's what she's saying. But if you're interested, if
Yes.
you want to hear more about Portugal, more about retirement, more about investing and saving, more about other people who have moved to other places, because you interview people who have been all over, who have moved all over, or are moving all over.
Yes.
So Our Black
Yes.
Utopia is their YouTube channel. And then don't forget about the Ready to Retire Toolkit. Copy, paste, right? Don't forget about the Ready to Retire Toolkit, so, which is a free
Yes.
download that can help.
And it comes with a series of emails too,
Good.
so that, I kind of walk you through it, so you're not just out there with the workbook.
Yeah, good. That's helpful. All right. And then finally, don't forget about not finally, but also don't forget about the YouTube Success 5-Day Challenge. If you see Halisi's channel with her thousands of subscribers in months, it's been months.
So our very first one was March 20th.
Yeah, that's you don't know how fast that is. Okay, so I
It
started.
is.
You don't know. I don't know that you know. Okay, so in my first 6 months of YouTube, I probably got 100 subscribers.
Oh, fast that way.
Yeah.
I was just saying the time passed
Oh,
quickly.
time. Who knows what's going on with the calendar? Who knows?
Well, you didn't have you.
I
That's
didn't
why
have.
I had you.
That's right. That's right. Right. I don't know if you understand how amazingly well your YouTube channel is doing.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I am glad that you're out here making it what you wanted to be. Because when we first talked, you were going to do something totally different, right? You're
Totally
living
different.
out what you want for yourself and for your husband and for your family and for your life. So I love to see
Yeah.
it. Love to continue watching and
Yes. Yes.
joining along and taking all of the credit.
This is the place where dreams come true.
Yes. Yes.
This is the place where dreams come true. I am living my dream life. And I knew I was going to get there once I found Our Rich Journey.
Hmm.
But my CDMX crew, that's what I call you, Adelia, and Rashida, y'all sped it up for me
Yeah.
because they're doing it large.
Hmm.
Y'all showed me how to do it not as large.
That's
It's
right.
like, oh, this is accessible.
That's
You
right.
know, I've always been a cheapskate. So my mom said, "You so tight with your money." It's a good thing I am.
That's right. It's got a purpose.
So I never needed gold gilded crap, you know. I'm living my dream. So thank you, Stephanie Perry. Thank
You, my
you.
pleasure. You're welcome. I'm gonna take all the credit for it.
Take it, baby. Take
You're
it.
welcome. But it's so wonderful. It's wonderful to see. If anyone here who's like, oh, I have a dream, but I don't have a plan towards the dream, I think that hopefully we have shown you that you can have the dream. It doesn't have to stay a
Yes.
dream out in the world that's unattainable.
Yes.
You can live it. You can live it. We're living it. Yeah,
Yes.
we're living it. Okay.
Yes.
So Halisi, have we anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to cover, or anything I didn't say that you wanted to say or send people to close
The
us out?
only thing that we are doing a challenge that starts right after Black Friday.
Oh,
Yeah, so don't do your Christmas shopping. It's a get your money straight challenge. You will find it if you go to our YouTube channel. It's all in the descriptions of everything.
okay.
It's very inexpensive. We're offering a one-on-one with the early bird,
Oh, well, that's awesome.
which is a lot less than the one-on-one without the early bird.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, and it's yeah, people are signing up, and there's a limited amount of space because
Yes.
we want to make sure that you're getting all that you can out of it. I think Tracy, who is the women's club, she's in there somewhere in the
Ah,
chat. She did it last time, and she's so see this is what I'm talking about, people. I've never met Tracy in real life, and she's just out there singing our praises.
yes.
This is the community that all of this is built.
Yeah.
The CDMX crew and all of the ancillary crew.
That's right.
So,
That's
yes.
right. Yeah, you can create that for yourself, or you can. I'm supposed to be putting. Yeah, I put your channel up there. Yeah, you can. We can create these things that we're missing. We can find them. We can make them, or we can,
Yes.
find search for them from others. But we can create them ourselves. Yeah, we've done
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
we've
Live
done
your
it.
joy, live your dream.
Live it.
Seriously.
Live it.
This is
Yes.
not a dress rehearsal. I used to tell my kids this all the time. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is a take.
Yes. Yes. Live it. Live it. You can sit and watch and congratulate other people for living their dreams, and
And I'll say thank you.
and never do your own thing. So we don't make these videos for you to sit and congratulate us, right?
Mm-mm.
This is why we
Do it.
covered the steps. Even though I saw the comments that let's get to Portugal, this is why we covered the steps that it took to get there, because we don't want you to just sit and watch and say, "Oh, that's beautiful." That's
I
not
yeah,
for her.
or waiting till someone passes away, right? Or waiting till the kids graduate or
Mhm.
any of that other stuff. Any of that other stuff. You don't want to wait.
Don't wait.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Put the plan in place.
All right,
So,
Halisi, thank you so much, friends. Thank you very much for being here and for sharing with us. This was long. This sometimes when I go really long, I feel it, but I'm like, this feels like we just got started. So thank you for that. That means we're going to have to talk more and more and more, Halisi. Okay.
my
All right,
pleasure.
guys. See you again very soon. Thank you.